I'm sorry. I can't help but laugh when I look down and see the naked egg. Oh my goodness! Hey, we already got somebody coming in already. You talk about being pushy now. Anyway, hey, it's another Sunday night and another Beards and Boogers, and pretty cool stuff. You just hang in there. Upcoming guest here coming in here in just a minute, but anyway, I hope all's doing well. Weather in Maryland is crazy again tonight. We had some sleet, freezing rain, and I see we're at the freezing mark, so it's supposed to warm up next couple of days. So, but anyway, crazy subject tonight. Something I don't really think we've ever really talked about, but we're going to hear it tonight. And if you paid attention to the name of the title of the show was all about the Chad, and it's all about Chad Black, meaning he had a crazy incident last night involving sleep, and I'm going to let him run the show tonight. I'm going to shut my big mouth until he asks me if he has a question for me or whatever. But it's about dreams. I'm just going to leave it at that. But it's going to be some pretty cool stuff. How are you, Erica?
Great, thank you.
Okay, levitating tonight.
No? Guys.
Huh?
Is it levitating tonight?
Well, I can't predict, but it's probably going to happen.
There you go.
Okay. Stay tuned.
Judging by history.
And Chad fan, Mr. David Blaylock. How are you?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
Good. It's good to see you, brother. Good to see you.
You too, man.
It's hard to get a hold of you sometimes in our little group chat, and I got to wait most of the day, like until I start cussing you and fussing where you at and everything. And you finally chime in.
Yeah, well, I'm usually out of service, and by the time I get home, it's like, oh man, they got a whole book written, and I haven't been involved in it.
Yeah. And okay, Jeffrey, how's the naked egg tonight? Now we're not going to ask questions. Everybody in the subject knows why you're the naked egg tonight. So, Lord help us.
The naked.
Everybody was watching last night. They know why I'm the naked egg.
Yeah. The chat's on fire. The chat is just rocking and rolling, and we love it. We appreciate everybody. And before I move down out of the way and let Chad take over, we do have guests already backstage, and we're going to bring them in.
Right.
Jeff, you don't count. You don't count. You guys already know who it is. Never mind. But anyway, I think people know who they are. So there he is. There they are. Becca's trying to hide, but we still see her. So.
Becca.
You can move the camera. Oh, she don't have to hide.
How y'all doing tonight?
All right. How are you, Mark?
How are you?
I'll make it, I reckon.
Aw.
Okay.
Trying to get over last night's fire pit, but we'll make it. So.
Yeah, looked like you had quite a few people there.
Yeah, we had a good turnout. Still a little chilly last night, but we had a good turnout.
I'd have been there, but I didn't get out of the house in time to make the trip down.
Yeah, I've been about 12 hours.
I need about 12 hours to get there or so.
He couldn't catch. He was afraid to catch his flight there. Afraid the airplane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I ain't flying.
Yeah, I'm not flying any airplanes for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I ain't even going to zip line even after that story last night.
Yeah, I'm not
zip lining.
No zip lines, no helicopters, no.
Well, then there's that too.
Absolutely. So, really good. Chat's rolling along. I've already got 82 messages over there I haven't even seen yet in just that little bit of time. So,
I need to say let me say one thing. No, Greg, it had nothing to do with Jeffrey's ziplining.
He didn't say nightmares, I don't think, but
no, I didn't.
But anyway, okay.
Why isn't it the naked egg and bacon?
Naked egg and bacon.
Ooh,
that's pretty good.
Oh boy!
I guess I missed the naked egg thing here. What is
Mark? Before it even starts, Mark, I'm going to apologize up front. Okay.
Okay.
You need to go back and watch Night Owls.
You watched last night's show on Woodwalkers.
Be very careful what you ask for tonight.
About me naked ziplining back in my youth. Into a quarry.
Okay. Yeah, I listened to it a little while today. Sitting here relaxing.
They didn't think I would do it. That was why I did it.
I bet that was interesting.
Oh,
It was also March.
Oh yeah, that water was cold, especially in that quarry. The quarry water's already cold.
Yeah.
Jeff had an innie.
Okay.
Okay, we'll stop.
Oh,
Anyway, we're gonna turn this thing over to I got several nicknames for him, but we'll just call him Blackie tonight. But it's all you,
Okay.
brother. Tell us about your incident, and then from here at this point forward, the show's yours, man.
Well, I think the first thing I want to bring up.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
Jerry's on a whole nother level.
The first thing I want to bring up is that, we all have dreams. We've all had dreams that were that we felt were real, or maybe have happened before, or some people have had dreams where they, I won't say see into the future, but similar. Like I've had dreams where I've heard explosions or just loud booms, and I've woke up and I've looked at her and she's sound asleep. So it tells me that it was a dream, but I would have swore it was something that really happened. So last night, I can't tell you what time it is or was, but I woke up in the middle of the night, went to the bathroom, went back to bed, and then all of a sudden, the way I can describe it is I felt like something was touching my right arm as I was laying on my back, and it moved across to my chest. And while it was on my chest, I felt like it was pushing and pushing and pushing. And my arms were by my side, and I kept trying to lift my arms to move or whatever. And I felt like it just kept pushing. I couldn't move my arms, and I tried to yell Erica, and all I could get out was and I couldn't get out Erica. And this went on in my head, it probably went on 5 to 10 seconds at most. And then as I laid there, I felt whatever was pushing on my chest move back towards the right, still pressing. And when it got about to my shoulder, I could lift my left arm, and I reached over and grabbed, there was nothing there, but I grabbed, and I literally felt fingers like you would feel this when I grabbed on, and they slid out of my hand. And I looked over, and Erica was looking at me, and she says, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, I don't know what just happened. She describes it as that she heard me having issues breathing, and that I had goosebumps. I just know that it freaked me out because it felt so real that I was grabbing fingers as they were pulling away from me. And, again, I've had dreams hearing noises and stuff and woke up and it wasn't real, but to feel the fingers. And I asked her, did I move my arm? And she said, yeah, you moved your arm over there. So that really threw it in, because if I'd have just laid there and I was just dreaming, that was one thing. But the fact that I brought my arm over and grabbed whatever, and then my hand slid away, or it slid away, that's what freaked me out. Now, I went right back to bed immediately, but when I woke up in the morning, I asked her, did this really happen last night? And she was like, yeah, you did that. So I don't know what that is or what that's from. And I've heard the stories of, what do they call that?
Sleep paralysis.
So sleep paralysis. I never saw anybody on my chest. I just felt like two hands, and then they moved across. And when I reached over and grabbed, which I don't know what I was doing, I just reached over and I could feel fingers pulling out. And that really freaked me out. I mean, I've never felt anything like that. So the whole day I've been thinking about that, because it's something I've never experienced before. And maybe it's the psyche of, the brain playing a game. I don't know, but that was, to me, something that was really off the wall and has kind of unnerved me, because I've never experienced anything like that before. So, and then her to back up part of the story while she was sound asleep, and then to wake me up and say that I was having troubles breathing. I don't have issues breathing. So that tells me that there was something going on, whether it was mentally or something physically was pushing on me. I don't know. So I wanted to tell that because I wanted to see if anybody else has had anything like that maybe they could. Twisted, no. Well, I haven't really checked, but I don't think there were any marks on my body. But it just really, really affected me mentally because I've never experienced anything like that before. And I just wanted to share it with everybody because it's when she tells me that I was acting a certain way, it's just yeah. So if anybody else has had any experiences like that before, I would love to hear about them. I know I've had like dreams where my grandmother showed up, and I was like, I loved my grandma. My grandma and I did everything together when I was a kid. But when I became a teenager, I kind of became a teenager. I didn't really want anything to do with going over to my grandparents' house. But about 4 years ago, I woke up and I actually had tears in my eyes because in my dream, my grandmother hugged me and she's like, "I love you." And I'm like, thinking to myself, I was a really kind of an ass. And you're still saying that you loved me. And I was like, in my dream. And it was so real that I felt like I could feel her hug. I also had okay. So last night also, she didn't hear it, obviously. But before the incident, I thought I heard my dad yell as loud as he could my name. Yelled out Chad. I woke up, sat up, and she's sound asleep. So obviously I didn't hear that. But it was one of those things like in the past. My just so you know, my dad died in 21, and one of the things that happened after he died is I was we didn't have the greatest relationship growing up, but as I got older, we got closer. And when he passed away, I don't know how many months it was after or whatever, I had a dream one night where he come up and he just said, "Everything's going to be okay." And that's all that was said. But when I woke up, that was like, I remembered that because a lot of people don't remember their dreams. And that was like, that stuck in my head. And I still talk about it to this day that was there. So, if other people have had experiences, I would love to hear them because that was the one that happened last night was so weird to me. So weird. So,
yeah. Just if anybody, I've put a couple comments up there for you. I don't know if you had a chance to read them. Hopefully you did, but if you have something similar, you can type it, or if you're interested, we'll send you a link and you can come on and talk to Chad about it, or I'll River. We'll share it up here on the screen. However, but yeah, I told Chad and I were talking right before we come on, and I have some weird dreams too. I actually had a crazy dream last night, a very sad dream involving I shouldn't say anything about it because I haven't talked to Cindy about it yet, but it involved our two cats. And it was really bad to the point. It was bad, really, really bad. And I'm probably not going to say that on here now because she hasn't heard me talk about it yet. Sorry, dear, but we'll discuss it later. But it was crazy. It's weird that you have that happen, and then I have death. Again, fortunately you didn't. But now you say you were felt being held down. I've actually woke up on my back as we were discussing that. How ironic before the show started. I could not breathe, and this was factual. This was real. Okay, this has been probably maybe 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. I was laying on my back, and I knew, you're just laying there, and I could not get a breath. I was in between sleep and waking up, but I could not catch a breath. And I mean, I could hear myself doing it. I wasn't dreaming it. It was for real. And I finally got that one break real quick where I could finally take in air, and I was fine. Thank God that's never happened again. That is a freaky feeling when you wake up like that, and you need air, you need oxygen, and you can't
Right.
take it in. I thank God that's the only time I've ever had that happen. So, but
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. I mean, I wasn't to the point where I woke up and couldn't breathe, because when the hand slid off and I reached over and grabbed the hand, apparently my breathing returned to normal. That's what, she said everything was fine after that. But I had to ask, did I really lift up my hand and touch my right shoulder? And she's like, yeah, you did. But I remember fingers being involved, not hers.
yeah, that would creep me out. I have a hard time going to sleep tonight if something like that happened to me the night before. And of course,
is freaky.
I also spoke of the two people that I used to work with. One was a company owner, and the other was a good friend. We worked, 16 years together or something like that. And it's not uncommon for me 2 or 3 times a week sometimes to dream being at a commercial building, working, putting up metal stud walls, hanging drywall, et cetera, finishing drywall, whatever. And those two being in there. And sometimes it's realistic. I'll wake up in the morning like, man, I just left work and I got to go. Wait a minute. They're dead. They don't even live. They're not alive anymore. But it was like a homecoming. It's like, is it, what, when they come to you, so to speak, and pull you in your dreams or whatever, something like that. I don't know. I'm not saying that's what it is, but maybe it's just me dreaming about it. We used to have a good time working together and stuff, but it's crazy real. It's crazy real when you wake up and think about it. I can remember everything about the dreams.
Yeah.
I mean, we were constantly, Jeff, I hound Jeff all the time. I pick on that poor guy so much, but that's how the three of us work together all day long. I mean, I'm talking, there's days we worked 14, 15 hours a day together, got home, cleaned up, ate, and got a few hours sleep, went right back at it again. But that's how we got through our long days. We cut down one another, pick on one another, do whatever we do to get through the days. And now it's in the dreams. It's came back again. It's really, I don't know how else to explain it, but anyway, there's other people I'm sure has got stuff to say. But
I'm looking right now at Mark posted. He said, I dreamed about my friend the night before he died. I knew when he woke up that morning he had passed. And I know other people that have told that same story. And I believe, David, did you have a story like that? Or
Yeah, it didn't happen like right away, but when it did happen, it lined up exactly what I had dreamt. But it may have been like a year later or something like that.
So you kind of wonder maybe how could you possibly dream something like that? I mean, Mark, you had to wonder that.
Yeah, I mean, that was very, very strange. Because I dreamed we was out in the field where we used to plant watermelons, and he'd bought a brand new John Deere tractor. And in this dream, me and him was talking about that tractor. And then I went into another dream. We were cutting hay. And I remember him saying, I'm about ready to quit this farming. And that's what I really remember about the dreams. And then the next morning, I knew something wasn't right. I figured in, and then I heard later on that day he had passed. So, yeah.
That's just, yeah. It makes me wonder if our mental abilities can pick up more than, just thinking every day. Like when you're asleep, maybe your brain, we operate on electrical currents. So maybe our brains are thinking in the daytime, we're on one current, but as we're asleep, we're more open and we're picking up more electrical currents. Hypothetical, but it just seems like so many people have had dreams where the ones they remember are usually the biggest ones. Like they mean something.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Well, even the Bible talks about it, whether, you're a Christian or a believer in it or whatever. The Bible talks about visions and dreams and prophecy and True. Usually they're at night, the visions of the night.
Right.
Wow.
Well, You know, a lot of us have dreams too, and I know probably all of y'all do. You dream stuff, and then years later down the road, it comes true. I mean, or that same scenario where you go somewhere that you know you've never physically been, but deep down you know you've been there too. You know,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, and that's when the stuff starts really getting weird. You know,
I've also looked at dreams as sort of maybe, you know, I told the guys earlier, I believe in dimensions. I believe that there is a Mark Green in so many dimensions, in each part of your life, each dimension, you're living a different life.
right? Yeah.
And maybe while we're sleeping, our bodies sometimes pick up the wrong frequency, and we travel to that other dimension and what they're thinking or what they're doing, and that's what we see. Again, hypothetical, but I've got to look at this with an open mind because I don't know. Why do we dream what we dream? You know, our brains are telling us these stories or these things. You know, if you're, you know, somebody died and you dreamt about that happening, or you dreamt something was going to happen and it happened, there's got to be something to that.
Right.
And all I can think is that maybe your brain waves crossed over to somebody else's brain waves that's you in another dimension or another whatever, and that's what you saw or that's what you heard. Maybe somewhere my father is still alive, not in this dimension, but it's somewhere else. Maybe I'm younger. You know what? It's just, you know, you could really crack yourself up over this. You start thinking like that.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
I ponder those questions just like that all the time. What if? You know, who knows? What if, like, so my friend, when I was 16, this isn't a dream, nothing to do with a dream, but like the dimensional type thing. I've often wondered, he blew his hand off with a grenade right beside me, and I'll just not get graphic, but a grenade went off right beside me and I didn't get touched. He did, my older brother did. And I come out unscathed. But then I've thought about, and I was 16 years old, he was 15. And I've often thought about, well, what if in a different dimension, that wasn't the same scenario? And we were sitting inside of a living room in a single wide mobile home when it went off, and I didn't get touched. I had like flash burn and stuff like that. But, you know, and my whole life I've thought about that. Well, what if in that dimension, you know, everybody was gone, or I was gone, and, you know, or my brother died or whatever, but it ended up my friend and my brother got hurt and I didn't get touched. So,
I've even thought about, I was in a car wreck. Well, most people know about her car wreck. I was in a car wreck in my Buick, where I was seeing how fast, I think I hit 120, started to slow down. I saw a sign that said speed limit 55, still slowing down. And then all of a sudden I saw a speed limit 15 and I was doing 60. It was around a real sharp curve. I turned the wheel. It went straight off the road. Luckily, I had jumped the ditch, went into a cornfield, never let off the gas, took off, went to, headlights were aimed like this, you know, doors were pushed into the rear quarter panels. But I think to myself, you know, did I survive or did I die? But in another life, I survived. That's the kind of stuff I think about, because I hear so many car wreck stories like hers that how could I have lived when other people have been a lot less, you know, in a wreck that's a lot less than that and survived it. And then hearing her story about her wreck at 90 plus miles an hour, where she was thrown from a car and here she is. That's the stuff that baffles me. Did we die here and still alive here, and our soul moved on to the next? I don't know if I want to get that deep on it, but I don't know. You know, it's just questions I have.
Yeah. And I think it's valid questions. I mean, I don't think our doctors and scientists have an idea at all about dreams, even the studies they do and stuff, or realities, you know, that could happen, like parallel universes and whatever, going through vortexes and all that. I think it's up to the people to kind of figure it all out.
Right.
I agree with that, David. When I was a teenager, I was so curious. I had a lot of dreams back then, but I was just curious in general. And I started keeping a dream journal, but then personally, I felt like quickly it was a waste of time because there was a dream dictionary, and I would read into that, and it kind of all seemed to blur together, or it just was so iffy that I lost faith in that interest, very quickly. But I want to say real quick, this morning when that happened, I heard Chad's breathing. That's what woke me up. And it wasn't overly loud or anything, but it was odd for him. And I guess you want to say it seemed like he was panicked. I did not feel at all that he was having any type of medical emergency or anything like that. But his breathing was definitely off, and it was like a patterned, light, heavy breathing. And so I touched his arm just real gently because I thought he was having a nightmare. And I didn't want to scare him. I didn't want to startle him or wake him up. I've heard horror stories about that. So I just touched him lightly on his other arm, not the arm he's talking about.
Yes,
and so he came out of that very quickly. But I was worried. I didn't want to startle him and have like a physical something, but it worked out, and it was very odd. But I felt his cold chills whenever I touched his arm. And like I said, I just thought he was having a nightmare. And then he woke up and he told me exactly then what he had told y'all. And it was crazy because I have not had that experience myself.
And I think, again, I would have never mentioned it if it wasn't for the fingers I felt sliding out of my hand. What I felt sliding out of my hand were fingers.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's freaked me out about all of this. I've had dreams that felt real. That seems to be normal sometimes. But when I actually have physical contact with fingers as I'm waking up, and she's on this side of me, that's what freaked me out.
What Greg just said down there about the
closet
door, hell no. Hell no. I do not sleep with the closet door open.
My closet doesn't have a door on it. I actually took it off.
Well, yeah. And he was saying earlier, sleeping with a hand or a foot over the side of the bed. Nope.
Very rare.
I don't have an issue with either of those personally. With the closet,
it's got to be. It's got to be screaming hot.
Because if my head is hanging over the side of the bed and something brushes it and ain't one of my two dogs, a couple things are going to happen in short order.
Well, I look at myself as a pretty masculine guy, but 2 stories from my youth where my grandmother took me to see Jaws, and I after that would never hang my arms or legs over the bed because I'm afraid a shark would bite them off. And also, I sleep with the blankets up around my neck so that a vampire can't bite my neck. That's from my youth, not from my adulthood. But that's just stuff I've carried into my adulthood. That's how I comfort now. But when I was a kid, you're a kid, you can sleep every which way, well, like she sleeps. I'll wake up and she's 5 feet below the pillows, sleeping on the bed. Like, where's she at? Oh, there she is.
Curled up at the end of the bed like a dog.
Yeah, kind of like, yeah.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious you say that. We went to
I'm all over the bed, ain't I?
Rebecca doesn't do that, does she, Mark?
No, she actually sleeps still. I'm the one all over the bed.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be angled before I've been angled. My feet be over by her, my head be over here, almost off the bed.
Look, you can unfold the bed, move the covers down. I'll get in bed, and when I wake up in the morning, all you have to do is get out and pull the cover over. I don't have to readjust the bed. With her, they're twisted, they're caught in a pile. That's everything, blankets are off the bed.
That sounds
yeah.
like my beagle when it makes a nest.
Oh man.
Do not say that. She better not be making a nest.
No, I always say it's like a workout with me. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm asleep.
It's ironic you say that. No, sorry. It's I went to an indoor pool in Illinois. Gosh, 20 years ago probably, and took a buddy of mine with me. We got a double queen room, and he's I don't know. He's like a person in his bed. He was constantly not at rest, not at ease. I mean, I'd hear him flop and carry on. He'd start just grunting and carrying on and whatnot. And I don't know if this guy's dreaming. I ended up pulling the extra pillow on my bed over my ears so I could sleep. I woke up the next morning. He's on his hands and knees, asleep, down on the mattress, on his hands and knees, asleep.
I'm like, you need to pray in the middle of the night.
And I mean, he's not up at the pillows. He's down in the middle of the bed, on his hands and knees, on his arms, this part of his arms, and his knees. Asleep.
I'm not like that.
That's crazy. But he was restless the whole night. I don't know what it was.
Damn.
Oh, that's sad.
So Jeffrey, do you have any sleep stories?
Well, I got a lot.
Wait. Sleep stories that don't involve you being naked.
No, I don't think I have any of those.
He has none.
I have to think back, but we won't go into that.
Let's not go there.
But I've had some. Actually, what I was just thinking about was actually my grandmother. It wasn't me. When my grandfather passed, like a few days, maybe a couple weeks afterwards, she had a dream one night that she said it was a dream, but I'm not sure. She woke up and my grandfather was like at the foot of the bed putting his shoes on, and he smiled at her, and then he walked out of the door.
Huh.
Wow.
And that was within a few days of him passing.
Yeah.
Huh.
But I've had some crazy stuff. You ever have dreams where you're at your own place, but every dream's different, where there's something going on? This is a pretty good example. This was a long time ago, and I still remember this. The farm got attacked by aliens. The weirdest, the strangest thing. And somehow I was in charge of some sort of last resistance to fight the alien horde off. I don't know who chose me to be in charge of this operation. There's been several things like that. One time it was the aliens. Another time, might have been another. Well, one time there were dinosaurs running all over the place. It was weird stuff. One night I had a dream that something was in the barn killing half of the cows, and I was in the house loading whatever large caliber tools I had at my disposal.
Well done, Jeffrey. Well done.
Yeah. and as many flashlights as I could get a hold of, but there's been some. I'll tell you, there's been some crazy stuff. I even had a dream one night about the cabin, the family cabin, about my grandfather's place, about a Bigfoot looking in at me from the second-story window. You want to talk about weird? And
so do you ever wonder yourself, why am I having these types of dreams?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what the oddity is why is our brain making us think these things? I don't know. I'm fascinated by the dreams that I've had. She's told me some of hers. Where does our brain come up with that stuff?
Yeah.
Why? I mean, I know I probably have a short circuit somewhere up there, but after last night, and I know Twisted was like, start keeping a dream journal. I'm probably going to do that. And I'll have to do it when I wake up, because sometimes when I wake up in the middle of the night, I'll be like, oh my gosh, that felt real. And then I'll wake up in the morning and it's like, I had a dream, but I can't remember what it was. So
Now, I've had those.
Have you had anything happen this week out of the ordinary?
like outside of dreams?
Yeah, like in I guess you'd say in reality. Have you had anything going on this week? Been a little stressful or something going on? I mean, I ain't trying to pry in your business. You
Oh
know
no,
what I'm
Mark,
saying?
I love the question.
Maybe it was the naked eczema.
Maybe it was Jeffrey's story from last night.
Well, I'll tell you what just stuck in my mind. He was talking about fighting the aliens. He come into my mind, he was riding one of them big steers out of the barn with swords running toward the
One in each hand.
You're going to come up with that cartoon now.
Yeah, exactly. Mark, I really have no stress in my life right now. That's kind of what makes me think there's something else. I've been through a lot of stress in my life. I've been through 2 divorces. I've filed bankruptcy in my life. I've had an up and down life, and I've been through times where everything was stressful. How am I going to live? How am I going to do this? Right now, I'm at a point in my life where everything is absolutely perfect. A great wife, beautiful cabin, and enjoying life. So that kind of, I knew it wasn't a stress related issue. It was just so odd that there was what I felt was physical contact. And I used to laugh at her, not her. I used to laugh when I'd tell her stories that there'd be nights where I'd be sound asleep, that I thought I was sound asleep. And I felt like there were bright lights in front of me. Close your eyes and shine a flashlight. That's what it felt like. But when I open my eyes, there's nothing there. It's still dark. So I would make jokes that it was probably the aliens coming through the ceiling, doing, rectal exams and everything else.
Some probing.
Yeah, but it was a joke. But after last night, I'm wondering, what if something, I'm not saying aliens, but something actually did that, and I felt the fingers as they pulled away.
But do you remember that time we went camping? It was like the second or third time we went camping. And I said it was like like somebody almost flashed their flashlight right outside of our tent.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was like the second time we went camping, she saw and it was probably 3 o'clock. It's around that early morning.
Yeah.
And it was a light outside of our tent, but it wasn't big enough to be a flashlight beam. It was just like this.
But you couldn't hear anyone out there. There was no question it wasn't a person out there. But this weird flash of light, like maybe 4 inches in diameter outside of the tent, like coming through. It was so weird. But we had at that campground, I don't know if it was that trip or the trip before.
It was the first time we had that.
There was like this carnival happening at this one.
It wasn't a carnival. It was they had like almost a yard. What's that yard? Yurt type tent, but it was shorter. It looked like a circus tent. And it was like 2-3 o'clock in the morning, and these people are dancing around and crazy music. And I'm like, oh. She was all concerned, thinking it was like a cult or something like that.
Seance going on there.
It could have been, but it was the next weekends when you saw the light.
So weird. And
at first I'm taking it as a flashlight, but literally we were one of maybe 5 groups camping, and the bathrooms were way away from us. So unless somebody got up in the middle of the night, walked up to our tent and put their flashlight up against the tent, maybe, I don't know, but just a word of suggestion to anybody that does that, be prepared. Because, yeah.
Jeffrey, you want to take care of that, Jeffrey?
That one?
Rick Whitson.
Okay. We can see if we can get him on.
please.
Chad, the cabin y'all live in, is it an older cabin or a newer style or
Brand new. Brand new. Yeah. Now, the land we live on used to be mobile homes that got torn down. I don't know if anybody passed here or not, but we're semi-wooded. So we've never had any experiences here that I know of until last night would have been the first one. Now, I will say that there was a death on the property next to us, a suicide, but I'm not going to, that's not something I'm going to use as what happened to me last night.
Right.
But the really odd thing about last night and this early morning is his separate dream where he heard his dad yelling his name at a separate time, but they both occurred overnight.
Yeah. So, when Jerry, said we wanted to do the show, and I just had to bring up that because I wanted to talk about if anybody else had anything similar to what happened to me. Now, I'm not following chat as well as I should be, but again, I would love questions because I love to try to answer as much as I can. Obviously, I'm not a sleep expert. I never sleep, so when I get sleep, it's awesome. But and maybe that's part of my problem is lack of sleep. I don't know, but I'm just going to say when I felt the fingers, that was a whole different experience for me.
Right.
So, and no, there was no Freddy Krueger. I see John, or Don.
Yeah. So there's like myth or story of what is it, the succubus or something like that was supposed to come to people in their dreams?
That was my second wife. She was a succubus.
You survived that experience. You're strong.
I made it. Yeah. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right?
That's right.
But yeah, I've heard that. Succubus and incubus.
Yeah.
Succubus is the woman and incubus is a male, I guess. Like I said, I didn't see anything. Now I was in between apparently sleep and then awake. And I know I was awake when I reached over because she said I reached my arm over and that's when I felt the fingers pull out of my hands.
Yeah.
I can't explain it. I was kind of hoping somebody else maybe had something like that with physicalness. Use it.
Something just crossed my mind. I used to wake up with scratches. Did anybody ever have that?
Did you see Phyllis and John's comments?
Yeah.
Was it Stacy said? Was it Stacy Thrasher that said something, or somebody else? Oh, it was Twisted. I think said something about that as well.
When I was married to my ex-wife, I used to wake up with scratches, and it was weird because that was the only time it ever happened, and it hasn't happened since then.
How close were you to divorce when that happened?
It was before that.
Okay, I was just making sure it wasn't right when you were getting in. That's
it was it was around. It was. God, it's hard to say. I'm trying to think. That is a good question.
And I have heard. I see some of the stuff in the chats.
Yeah.
People waking up with cat style scratches.
I don't have cats, and I would have stuff. Like I thought maybe I scratched my head or something. But it only ever really happened when her and I were together. It's weird.
Okay. I'm just going to say that maybe she didn't like you then and was maybe,
not touching you in the bed.
I don't know. But that's pretty wild. If I woke up with scratches, that would concern me. That's for sure.
But it was never like a full on hand. It was just like a fingernail almost like. But it was always around my head.
Did you ever try wearing mittens to make sure it wasn't you? Like babies.
That's a good question.
On them and they don't.
No, I never did that.
Well, okay. That's wild.
Have y'all ever felt something like getting into bed with you, but your wife's not there, but you feel that bed?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm usually hoping it's the dog.
Yeah. I woke up before and ain't be nothing there. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same, Mark.
That's weird.
Mark,
Yeah.
Mark, I've not only had that, but I've also had where you're standing somewhere and you feel like somebody is right next to you.
Yeah.
And you know, we all have our aura, and you know when somebody is in your aura, but when you turn around and there's nobody there,
Yeah.
it's like, you being in bed and feeling like somebody's hopped in bed next to you, and you look over and like, wow, there's nothing there. Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
even like somebody touching your shoulder or something, like a light touch, or you feel like that. And it's like you look to see and there's nothing or no one. Yeah.
Well, David, that's what mine felt like at first last night. I felt like it was just touching me. Like somebody walked over and just went like this. But then as it started moving across, and then it felt like it just was pushing and pushing and pushing, and then moved their hand back off when she woke me up. But that's exactly what it felt like. Somebody was just touching me and then moved over and pushed on me.
Yeah.
I'd be paying attention for a while. What's going on there?
I have a question for all you guys and everybody in the chat. What about the foods that you eat, like for dinner? So
I was
before
just
you go to
about to
I've
sleep,
heard that.
and how that
I've heard
affects
that.
you. Do you
I've heard
notice
that.
the pattern?
I know a lot of people.
I've
A lot of people say that, like, when you eat chicken, you're more apt to have dreams. Now, I don't know how that has anything to do with it, or is it eating chicken, or is it eating the chemicals that they put in store-bought chicken?
Right.
I mean,
Very good possibility. Yeah.
Very good possibility.
I heard bear meat does that too, makes you have dreams. But now Misty said
Italian
bear
sub.
meat, but Misty said she never heard that or had that happen. So her and Sherry, and then when I asked them about it one time, but I've had other people, especially them boys I know from West Virginia that hunt a lot, they told me a lot of times when they'd eat bear meat, they start having dreams. So I don't know what the deal is there, but
I haven't noticed that myself, but I've never really paid attention to that either.
Me neither. Yeah.
Italian cold cuts for some reason do it to me. I don't know why. Very strange, but I've had a lot of crazy dreams after eating an Italian cold cut. And also, like, in a real time, if I was like exhausted and I was eating it, a lot of weird dreams have happened afterwards. I don't understand why, but
it could be the additives in the food. It could be triggering something in our brain to dream.
I will definitely agree with you. Now, her and I eat pretty clean, but we do have a couple nights where we'll go, like last night we had pizza from a pizza joint. So there's chemicals in the cheese, in the dough, everything.
Right. That's what Fabian's saying right now.
That's what Art just said, spices.
That's what I was going to say. I've heard if it's, well, not just spices, but spicy foods can
I've had that happen too, Mary.
Nightmares, really. That's what I've heard.
Robert, sorry.
Eating a lot of bread will make you sleep deeper too. That's why, like, if you eat pizza or a lot of wheat bread or biscuits, it tends to make you sleepy because some kind of chemical release in the wheat causes you want to sleep. That's why, like, when you eat pizza, a few hours later, you ready to go to bed, or if you eat, biscuits or something. It's kind of, I kind of forgot what that chemical is it releases, but the
endorphin or something.
Then you got turkey's got that tryptophan.
Tryptophan, that's it. Yeah.
You eat that stuff.
Yeah. Puts you right out.
I think with breads, it's the crash from the carbohydrates.
That's
every time you eat turkey during Thanksgiving, you're ready to go to sleep right after you eat that turkey.
Yeah, but I also look at that as you're also eating a heck of a lot of food.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving. Right. I mean, if I sat here and didn't eat turkey and I ate all the food except turkey that I eat at Thanksgiving, I'd be ready for bed. So I know the tryptophan's what they always say, but I don't think that's always, I think you're just filling your belly up.
Yeah.
Time to hibernate.
Exactly. What did Greg say?
I dream of Jeannie.
Oh, Patrick.
Greg says he dreams all the time.
Yeah, I just had it highlighted there. Yeah, even if it's a 20-minute nap, he dreams, whether he dreams at night, overnight, or whatever. Here it is.
Wow.
I don't think he gets much sleep. So I think that his body takes what it can get.
What did Don say? Don said even a CPAP mask does not prevent
Yeah.
dreams.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of this CPAPs. They're supposed to be great, but I don't have much faith in those damn things.
Well, I mean, it's supposed to help you sleep. And usually why you get that is because you stop breathing when you're asleep. And
Well,
I think
all it does is wake me up.
I've heard that.
I went to using one of those mouth guards instead because you wake up in the middle of the night, the hose is wrapped around you, or,
Yeah.
something's gone.
I've had a mouth guard before, but I feel like that made me like grind my teeth more at night. I felt like I felt it.
Yeah.
And so it didn't have the right reaction with me.
Mary said, but the dreams, if they're dreams. And I've thought that too before, Mary. With the lights, when my eyes are closed and I see the lights, and then I open when there's no lights. That's kind of. I guess I look at what realm of sleep am I in? Am I in the REM stage, or am I deeper than that when I see those lights? Or again, is it our brain's electrical, whatever? I just think that there's something happening. Maybe it is gray alien. Maybe aliens are coming in. I don't know. God, Greg. I mean,
Jesus.
Lord gracious. Oh my. Now I tell you a strange something happened one time back when I was a teenager, and I still can't explain it to this day, but I dreamed something was right above me breathing.
oh,
And back when I was growing up, we didn't run the air conditioner all the time in my house. My daddy was old fashioned, so in the summer, a lot of time the windows were up. My bedroom, from the ground up to my windows, probably about 8 to 10 foot, somewhere in that neighborhood. And I remember waking up or hearing something right behind me. Of course, the head of my bed was up to the windows because I wanted that air, coming in. And I sit there and listen to something breathing right behind me with a raspy breath. And it didn't go on for, I don't know, 10 or 15 seconds. But I never woke up. But I can remember it to this day hearing that. But I never woke up. And, I wonder a lot of times if it was a Bigfoot that stepped up to the window and I was hearing it breathe. I mean, I don't know that for sure. Or if there was something else, lurking around. But that was, I don't know, I was probably about 12, 13 years old when that happened.
wow.
Just never have forgot that. That was just real strange.
That is strange. River. I actually, so when my dad yelled my name last night, which was earlier in the evening, I think you were here. My dad died in 21, but he yelled my name last night, or in my head, as loud as I could hear. And I sat up because I looked over at her to see if she heard it too. And obviously she didn't. But when whatever was pushing on my chest and she woke me up and I grabbed the fingers, she said, I stayed calm. I said, like, did you see that? And I think I said something like that, but I felt fingers. And she said, that was weird, but I was still laying down. And I literally felt like I went right back to sleep. So if she wouldn't have acknowledged what happened, I would have thought the whole thing was a dream. But the fact that she acknowledged it and everything that I talked about with my hands, she saw, then it couldn't have been just a dream. So, yeah.
No. It wasn't River.
No, River. It wasn't 1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, I don't know about your dad one, but it was probably more about 3 o'clock in the morning for the feeling.
Well, it was at the witching hour.
Yeah.
Something. I don't remember.
We don't keep a clock.
Yeah.
Our cell phones are usually down on the floor next to the bed,
Yeah.
upside down. Mine plays crickets so that I can sleep with my tinnitus. But I never know what time it is unless I pick my phone up, and I didn't pick my phone up at the time.
Well, you guys were saying earlier about feeling a presence.
Yeah.
I was saying, I was going to say the milking barn. My great grandfather died in there.
Oh,
He actually fell. Well, they think he had a heart attack. He was almost as old as my grandfather. And he was scrubbing the milk tank. They found him laying in the floor. And there have been times I've been in that barn at 4 o'clock in the morning and felt somebody step down onto the grate in the parlor. Like, you know how when you're in an area and you can like feel the shift when someone steps onto like a metal grating, like if you're working in a building or something.
Oh yeah.
I felt that whatever, I'm going to say it was probably him. Occasionally I would feel that shift when I'd be in the barn in the morning.
wow.
Yeah.
Misty, if you was dreaming about your dad when it happened, sounds like it was your dad trying. I wasn't dreaming about him at the time that I know of. He yelled my name earlier in the evening or in the morning. And that's when I sat up, looked at her, and obviously I knew he didn't yell. There was no voice in the room. It was in my brain. But when the touch happened, the first touch on my right arm, it was literally like just somebody placing their arm or hand on my arm. And then again, it slid across, got here, and then slowly just kept pushing and pushing and pushing. Now, if it was my dad, he was probably trying to say, you were such a bad kid, but I don't feel that's what it was. I feel like, I really don't feel anything because it just started pushing and pushing and pushing. And I never would have thought my dad would have done anything like that. But I mean, I guess that's something I can think about.
It was like hours between it. Though.
She said hours between it.
I don't know the first occurrence, but the way he tells the story, I feel like it was hours between it.
So I got a question for you, and I seen Don kind of responded to that too, because it struck me as soon as you said it. You have tinnitus really bad, or?
Lots of rock and roll concerts, being up against the amplifiers. Yeah.
So I'd be interested. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was gonna say I'd be interested to know everybody who says that they've had this kind of stuff happen, if there's any connection with that, because I've got terrible tinnitus. I mean, really bad, and like grenades going off in music and chainsaws my whole life and stuff. And I'd wonder if there'd be any connection there. I don't know, because I seen Don immediately like he has tinnitus, so maybe he's wondering kind of that same thing.
Yeah, I don't know. That's something I can look into though. Yeah, if I don't play crickets at night, like crickets and I usually do like crickets, tree frogs, those kinds of sounds, because it hides the tinnitus. The sounds of the crickets match the sound of your ringing in your ears or the whatever high pitched ringing. So that helps. But I never thought about that affecting dreams or anything like that. I'll have to check into that. That's interesting. Can you write that down, please? Note taker. So that's a good question, though.
So he's saying something right now.
Yeah, I see that.
It's like electrical charge makes him nauseous.
Don, my uncle had that. He has tinnitus so bad that he had to go to the doctor, and they put some kind of things in his ears to try to help calm that his tinnitus. But he literally said it was driving him crazy. And he did make the comment at one time, a little overboard, that he wanted it to stop, and he was going to stop it whatever way possible. But they gave him some kind of, they gave him a medicine, and then they put some kind of implants in his ears to help. So it could be something that runs in my family as well. But I've had tinnitus since I was probably in my 20s. I just
Wow.
attributed too much, heavy metal rock and roll. And
I thought you liked the sound of crickets too.
well, I do too from camping, but that helps.
Okay.
Levant says she has it too.
Mm-hmm. I have it mildly.
Yeah, a lot of people have to sleep with either something playing or a fan running or some kind of humming
Mhm.
noise or
A
something
fan
out
helps
over
me a
there.
I
lot.
always sleep with a fan.
That's that's interesting stuff to think about. I mean, that's tinnitus. I'll go back to what causes all these issues with our bodies. We don't know, but we've also found out that we operate off of electrical currencies.
Mhm.
So is there a disruption in the current? Is there, same with dreams? Is there a disruption in our normal everyday lifestyle or our normal sleeping pattern that gives us this dream, gives us something odd in our brain that we think about?
Mhm.
We've all had dreams that were so out there that made no sense, like something futuristic, but it had nothing to do with your life. Why are you thinking that? Was it something you saw on YouTube or saw on a TV show or heard? I don't know, but it's interesting to think about.
Mm-hmm.
And I still say this kind of all relates back, electrical currencies, to the people that can see boogers and other cryptids. I think there's a whole different, I think you emit a different current, a current, and that allows your body to see things that a lot of other people can't see. And I'll say the same things with UFOs as well. David's told some great experiences he's had, Mark experiences, you've all experiences you've had. And I wonder if I was with you, would I have experienced the same thing? Because I have never experienced anything like that before. And maybe I'm not the same frequency as you guys. I've talked about struck by lightning, near death type stuff. Maybe you cracked your head when you were a kid on something. So
I'm raising my hand. Yep.
Or your brother throws a old metal combine at your head.
Wow.
Yeah, that would Jeff. Yeah, that would probably fit the category. I've been I spent most of my younger life getting into fights, and I was always the littlest guy. So I'm not going to lie. I've been knocked out a few times. I've been concussions from doing different things. Doesn't make me see anything or hear anything. So I'm wondering if it's electrical currents in our body, and certain disruptions change things with certain people. I don't know. And maybe that's the same with the dreams. I don't know.
Well, a good example of how people don't see the same thing, and Rebecca's gonna hate this when I bring this up, but one night we were in Talladega National Forest doing with a group of friends doing some Bigfoot researching, and we were standing on top of a hill, and me and daughter, her friend, and Rebecca was standing on this hill looking down at this road, and the rest of the researchers had went down behind us toward our trucks. And about this time, me and my daughter and her friend watched a booger step out into the road. He stepped into the road and he done a complete flip-flop. He went back, but all Rebecca seen was a fog. We could see the figure, but when Rebecca, she said, all I can see is a fog. She seen the fog come out and then it go back. But me and the two girls seen the figure. So I do believe all of us have different makeups. And I don't know, is it, your eyesight having something to do with it, or your signal going to your brain? I mean, I don't know. I don't know really how to explain that, but there's something different that everybody can see different things. That's just like colors. I can hold up a color. I might say it's lavender, somebody else say it's purple.
Right. Right.
And so, we get into that, but But that's an excellent example that I witnessed that night, because she said all I seen was a fog, and I'm going, babe, that was a Bigfoot that just stepped out in the road plain as day. I mean, and the two girls agreed. They said, yeah, you could see his arms, his legs, his head, and everything.
I think that's a great example. That's kind of what I'm,
Yeah.
Again, we're all genetically different. I mean, we have chromosomes that make us, are you ready for this? Men and women. But I think we are electrically different in our bodies. Everybody's different. What you guys have seen or heard, I haven't seen or heard. And there's probably things that I've seen that maybe you haven't seen. I doubt it, but that's there. That mysticism to me is there, that we're on different wavelengths. We've heard the expressions before. Well, you're all on a different wavelength than I am.
Mm-hmm.
Why would somebody say something like that?
Yeah, Greg had a pretty good point there. How many of you guys always double check to make sure things are locked and the stove's off and stuff's unplugged before you go somewhere? I do that all the time. I used to be really mad at it.
I'm horrible every
I walked
night.
in the house 4 or 5 times just to make sure I turned the stove off and turned off the coffee pot and didn't leave any faucets running or anything.
Yep.
That's
You ever do that, Mark?
he's like that, and I'm
What's
Yes.
Megan's over there shaking her head. What's she?
Yeah, she said no. She don't check nothing. No, and she don't. So.
I do, and I'll walk away from my back door and go to the front door, and I always got to turn the outside light on at each
I always
door.
go back in.
I have a routine. I double check the locks, turn the light on outside. 5 seconds, 6 seconds, I'll shut it off and walk away from the back door and go to the front door, and I'll do the same thing at the front door. And here recently, I'll hit the remote on the car outside, make sure I hear the horn beep.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll flip the light off, and then I'll say, did I turn off the back light? I got to come all the way back to the back door and do it again. It's crazy, but yeah.
Yeah,
Very
Misty,
real.
Misty
Very
right
real.
there. I do the same thing, Misty. I walk around looking for that smell. It bugs me if I can't figure out where it's coming from.
Yeah.
I've done that before. I've left in our old condo. We lived in a circle, and I've done that. I've left my did I shut the garage door? And I'll drive around the circle and come back to make sure I shut the garage door.
I'll drive around my house to make sure I didn't leave a door open or when I'm doing something. And I got to go back to the barn 4 or 5 times, make sure I didn't do anything in there that I forgot about. Because my dad likes to forget to close gates sometimes.
That's the rough ones, ain't it, Jeff?
Well,
when you come out, they 50 cows standing out the yard.
Them heifer barn, some of them heifers, a couple of the barns, he'll forget to close a gate when he goes out in the tractor, but they're so used to going and laying down after they eat. Half the time, the damn gate will be open for 20 minutes and nothing comes out.
Wow.
I drive around and I'll be like, whoa, close that up real quick.
And beef cows I used to have, they hunted for an open gate. They loved
some of ours, yeah.
I see Don Moore asked, Blackie, did your dad's tinnitus give him headaches and anxiety? It's actually my uncle, and yes, it did. He actually was, he got suicidal. That's why he went to a doctor about it. Because he started having, it started driving. He basically like voices in your head type thing, but it was the ringing in his ears. It was getting so loud that he couldn't sleep. He couldn't function because it was so loud in his ears. Well, that's just good practice, Hillary. He should check his zip line.
If anybody in chat, real quick, if anybody in chat has a story, I'll send a link over to you real quick. You're welcome to come on and tell us something. Is that okay with you, Dr. Chad?
Oh, of course, please.
Does anybody have specific numbers that they always go back to? Greg had said something about that earlier.
1111.
Cindy has, I can't. I want to say it's 747 or something like that. I have to go ask her real quick, but yeah, she has that a lot.
Fives pop up in my head a lot for some reason.
555. Yeah, I've had 555, 1111, 1234. I think River and I talked about this. Eric and I and River talked about these numbers, and then I brought it up one night, angel numbers, and I don't know exactly what that is, but I've seen where if you see these numbers all the time, it means something. But I literally 1111 since I was a kid. I remember waking up and looking at the clock. It'd be 1111. I don't know what that means, but it was a time.
Fives drive me nuts. Uneven numbers, and it's always. I prefer even numbers.
Me too. I don't know why.
Same.
Yeah.
Hers is 747. She said, yeah.
Oh wow.
She said all the time. She can
Mine
look at the
is-
clock. I'm sorry, Dave. In the morning or evening, and it'll be 747. It's just weird. It always. It's like a reoccurring number she sees all the time.
Wow. I don't see like the reoccurring number, but it seems like if I wake up in the middle of the night, it's always right at 3 o'clock or right at 3:33.
Wow.
Wasn't that the time that the guy woke up in the Amityville Horror?
Say that again.
Wasn't that the time that the guy that committed all the murders in the Amityville Horror woke up?
Oh, I don't know. I've never watched that. I don't know.
Don't watch it then, David.
I won't.
No, don't.
You hear a lot of people waking up at 3:30 in the morning. That's a weird time. I don't know why.
That's me. I do that.
And at work, 3 o'clock in the morning is a weird time. I don't know why. It's kind of weird in the plant at 3 a.m. in the morning. I don't know if it's just because it's right before the first shift is fixing to start coming in. But it gets just real quiet in there at 3 o'clock in the morning. And it might be because everybody's taking a nap everywhere somehow. But it gets real quiet in there that time of morning. So.
So what do y'all think about the moon phases and say, I worked in a courthouse before and they're like, oh my God, it's going to be a crazy day. It's been a full moon.
Yep.
Well, yeah.
I feel like there's
crazy to form during moon phases.
What's that?
It gets crazy around here during moon phases.
Yeah. My aunt was an ER nurse, and she said she hated full moon because they'd be full in the ER.
That's what my mom was a nurse. She did ER for a little bit, but she always said that too. Full moon is like people just go crazy. They're just
I feel like it's a thing now. Like as the years go by, I feel like that's a thing.
Yeah, that's wild.
I know the hunting gets tough when you have a full moon.
The animals act real goofy during a full moon.
Yeah.
So do people.
Yeah.
So do people.
Oh, yeah.
She has that at the hospital. She's like, oh no, it's a
Yeah.
full moon. It's going to be a full moon.
Anytime I've ever been in a hospital during a full moon for whatever reason, I'm like, no, I don't want to be in here. The waiting room looks like a zoo.
Right.
But I've heard that story before. Full moon at prison or jail gets crazy.
Oh yeah, I know. I know plenty of people that work corrections. Heard some pretty crazy stories about full moon.
Yep.
So everybody ask questions, please. Get more questions in here. I know you all have some stories or questions you want to talk about or would like to talk about.
Tell you what, I'll go ahead and throw the link out there real quick. If anybody's got a story that goes and coincides with what Chad's and everybody's been talking about, come on in, tell us about it.
Misty says she's going to come on and explain how I see light. I'm kidding.
Come on in.
That's right. There is some planets lined up right now. I
Yes.
forgot about that.
Yep.
Nice.
Obviously we all know that the world is bigger than us and there's so many strange things that we'll never know
Right.
that happen.
Yep.
Well, Bud's got a good one.
Well, we
Yeah,
only
that's
use
a good
what
one.
10% of our brain that the
Is it-
Lord
is it
gave
that
us.
much?
Okay.
You know,
That's crazy.
Yeah, I think that's what it is, Mark.
Mhm.
Here's a
Yeah,
question for
that's-
this for the panel here.
That's a good one.
Okay, I'll answer it first if you don't mind. I don't ever, I can't say I remember dying. I remember in some of my dreams that I've fallen and done that long fall. And they say if you actually hit the ground and wake up that you die in real life. But I always wake up before it happens, you know. But what's weird is my heart will be beating really hard. And so like you experience the fall, but you're not really falling.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, I remember Miss V talking about that out of body experience she had when she was in that wreck.
No.
She could see him working on her. So
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
I've had dreams where I woke up knowing that I didn't survive in my dream.
Yeah.
Hey,
Hi, River.
River.
How are you,
Bye,
River?
River.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, brother.
Uh-oh. Oh no.
Poor
You got that
River.
time lapse,
He
huh?
tries.
Yeah.
He's even got his headphones. He's got.
Hey,
Oh.
like I've got them on, man. I mean, like I've got them on. I'm trying, I'm trying hard. I'm trying hard. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
No. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah.
Someone.
It's a little
Hey.
delayed, but we can hear you.
Hey, thank you
Robert-
guys. How you doing? Hey, Chad. Blackie. That's awesome, man.
It creeped me out, River. It creeped me out. Oh no.
You know, like when I lost my grandmother, I'm from a stolen mob. When my mother died, my grandmother, well, the welfare come and got me. They took me away, and my grandmother come and got me. And I was there with her when she died, in the house that I lived in from when she got me. And when they took her off the hospital and she passed away, I went and seen her, stood beside her, and we done our tribal way. You know, like not only me but our people, you know. And when I come home, there was this big huntsman spider. He was on the wall. And he wasn't there before we went to hospital. He was there after she passed away. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
And so I ended up going into her bedroom the night that she passed away, and she had a dressing table like the old people, like my grandma's 96. She needed 4 more runs like in cricket, you know, to get the 100, you know, but she's 96 and she knew a lot of stuff, and she taught me a lot of stuff about what Dolagal, Yahweh, Nunkana, Borondana, all about the stuff, you know. And even about our paranormal, our gunjas, what we call gunjas is ghosts and things like you've experienced, Chad. You know, Blackie, you know. It's happened to me, bro.
Yeah,
But
it's
you know, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
When she died, I come home, I sat on the side of her bed. Now there was on her bed was a giant, like it was a thing you open up, and little ballerina will jump up and do all the business, you know, turn around, and it was a musical box. Yeah, it was a
Wow.
musical box, but it never
Wow.
worked, right? It
Wow.
never worked. It never worked. So I got it. I tried to look at it. I got it for her before she passed away. I looked at it and I tried to get it going for her. nah, it was all rusted and corroded and everything, right? When she passed away, I'm sitting, like I'm laying in bed. I sat on the side of the bed and I looked at that thing, and I thought, right, okay. I end up going to sleep. Now, this is 11 o'clock after the funeral at night, 11 p.m., right? And I'm sitting there and I thought, right, I gotta go to sleep, you know? So I went to sleep and I woke up through the sound of this noise, which was something really crazy, man. It was like noise like that, you know? And I thought, what is this? And I got up and there was this jewelry box that it's opened and it's turning around and it's doing all the business. And you know what? She sat on the end of my bed, or end of her bed, and I seen her. I seen my grandmother, and she said, "Don't worry, son, everything will be all right. You know where the Doolagals are."
Wow.
Doolagal mean Yowie in our lingo down under, you know?
Okay.
Yeah. And
Wow.
that's what she told me. And this is this is what the thing is. I don't get to talk to a lot of people like you, Mob. I mean, like, I love you people. You're fucking awesome, man. I mean, like, besides Carrie Arnold, carry on. But I mean, you know, you got Donnie Miller, you got Greg House, you got Coomba, you got all you Mob. I love you, man. Because you're the only Mob I can talk to down here. True. But
Understandable. Yeah.
But I mean, like, to have that paranormal stuff going on, you know. I know, I look like Mickey Mouse with these ears on.
You look good, homie.
Hey, it's working. The camera and sound's all together working finally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mary.
I kind of missed the curtain floating in the background.
Hey, you
I know
know,
it's curtain on. I see
hey,
Mary.
brothers, I had to get rid of that. I had to get rid of that because it was scaring the shit out of Billy Schilling. And there was things,
I see Mary
and it was scaring the
posted.
shit out of me too. I mean, like, I'd come in here.
Where's that at? Thank you. I
Will I
once
do it?
dreamt that I was
Will I do it?
stabbed.
Will I give the didgeridoo? Will I do the yidiki?
Yes, you should.
Oh, I knew Mr. Blaylock could say that, better known as Bernie Bunyip.
Yeah. I
Go
see.
ahead, Go ahead,
sorry.
Chad.
I see where Mary said, I once dreamt that I was stabbed in the stomach by an evil man. And then a few days later, I had a miscarriage. I've heard a lot of stories similar to that, Mary. People,
Wow.
you know, dreaming something and then waking up and then it happens a couple days later. Like we talked about earlier with people dreaming somebody passes away. And then like with Mark, he had somebody, well, he didn't dream they passed away, but they passed away the next day. But I've heard people talk about they dreamt somebody's death. And then the next day, those people passed away.
Right.
There's a
Yeah.
question.
I do 100%. Only because I've proven to myself when like Fruit of the Loom, when they talk about no cornucopia in their symbol, there is definitely, in the old days, there was a cornucopia. I've seen people prove it, and I know for a fact, because that's where I learned the word cornucopia, because I asked my mother when I wore tighty whities as a little kid, what is this with all the fruit? And my mom said that is a cornucopia.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's so many things with the Mandela effect that there'll be a whole show on that. But I agree with the Mandela effect could be dimensional thing or alternate universe or whatever you want to call it, for sure.
I agree, Chad.
I have a question for River.
Yes.
Hey, Brother River.
Hey, sister.
I saw your comment, the caller comment about your dream. And
Yeah.
I want to ask you how that made you feel, if you felt anything about that. I don't know what all you saw about that or how it made you feel. But also, did you have that dream one time or more than one time?
No, sister, it was just a one time, eh? And you know why that reason, like how it come about was, like I mixed with a lot of people, a lot of non-Aboriginal people, and and they want to know about my culture, and I met these people at times, but there was one particular time, and it had to do a bit with racism. Okay, I don't want to load this on you, but I mean, and this fella, and it got to do with talking about our hairy family. It come to a conversation, and the next thing you know, I've been ridiculed by this white supremacist person. I'm sorry, but I shouldn't have said that. But and it's put me in an area where I couldn't speak to anyone anymore, and like, but I had this dream where I was white and no one knew me. Now I don't know what that was about. I don't know. From like when Brother Blackie, like Chad, was saying, I don't know. It's crazy. It just seemed like it wasn't real, but it was real. It felt like I was right in amongst these people, and I was getting victimized by. I'm just chocolate, So.
Yes,
sorry.
Twisted.
You there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've had a weird dream. I don't know if anybody can relate to this, but I've had a weird dream where
Am I in trouble again with it?
You're good. You're here.
my weird dream. It's probably been over a year ago. We can see you.
Good.
But it was a building.
Cool.
It was a building that I was in.
Look, this is what I've been doing. This is what I've been painting. I've been painting. I've been painting and doing stuff. Sorry, Erica.
He's lagging.
Go ahead, Erica. The floor is yours, Erica. Go ahead.
So there was a building that I was in, and it was multiple stories, and it was very, very, very contemporary, very beautiful building.
Yes.
I've never seen it in my life. I've never stepped foot in this building, but I don't remember anything that was going on at this point. But it became a thing where I'm like, in my dream, I'm like, oh my God, I've been in this building before in my dream before. And it probably happened 3 or 4 times, I think. And maybe over the course of 1 or 2 years, there was never anything that stood out that was going on in my life at the time to make a connection. But I remember being in my dream and like, this is really weird because I've been in this building in my dream before. So I didn't know if anybody else has had something like that happen.
Wow.
Yep.
Sure.
So that kind of goes with my dream with my dad, Erica. It was very similar to that, to where so my dream with my dad, I'll just kind of tell that was first. It was the first for me, that it was a place I'd been before when I was a kid. So I was raised Jehovah's Witness, and and we every Sunday we would go to the Kingdom Hall and go to church or whatever. And so this little town that I grew up in was just like 2,500 people there. And so I knew all the Jehovah's Witnesses that would come, to the meeting and stuff. And I knew the building well, being there as a kid. Well, just right before my dad passed, I had this dream that I was at this same building, basically, like just at what felt like being at a meeting, like a Jehovah's Witness meeting. And I was wandering around, just looking, like I was looking for somebody. But I was seeing all these people that I knew from when I was a kid, but it felt really weird. And it was like depressing and like heavy feeling. And the whole dream was just me looking and looking. Well, it was maybe a year later or something like that, I got the call that my dad had just passed away, just out of the blue one morning, just got sick, went to the hospital, not feeling good, passed away right then. And so for the service, I went to my hometown to go to the service, me and Dee Dee, and the service happens to be at the Kingdom Hall Jehovah's Witnesses that we went to. And I went in there, and my family that I hadn't seen, like my cousins and stuff, the people that I'd seen in that building as a kid and stuff, they were all there. And I was wandering around, you know, and it was so odd because I was there with my dad the last time I was there. And here I am now back at that building, looking at people that I knew and recognized, and was looking like, wow, it's so weird for my dad not being here. And it just like dawned on me suddenly that this is the exact dream that I had. I mean, I was seeing my aunt and my cousins, and it was really strange. It just like dawned on me like that. And I had told Dee Dee the dream. It was so profound. It's like one of those ones where I like it feels real, you know, like prophetic, I guess. And I told her, and when it happened, both of us got tears in our eyes. And I was like, babe, this is the dream. And she's like, oh my goodness, you're right. It is exactly.
Wow, David.
Don't fall asleep there, Jeff.
That's wild, David.
It was strange.
The yawning starting.
Twisted, I'd never heard of a past life regression. I'm interested, but I've never. But I, you know, you said something earlier. Let me see if I can find it here. Okay, I lost it. But you asked a great question, and I wanted to answer it, but then I forgot it because that's how my brain works. Lavone, no. There's been times where I've had dreams, and I wish they would have continued the next night. I think you guys all get it. Anyway.
I can assume. Let's see.
Yeah, I was looking for hers.
Blackie, have you thought about having a past life regression?
No, that's what I just talked about. It's further back.
But I know Twisted said something. I think she said past life memory. I don't know if that was mine, but for me, no, because that building was way too contemporary. I'm older than that building.
I think somebody said something about another, like maybe your dream was another dimension or something similar to that.
Oh yeah.
I mentioned something earlier about that with maybe your frequency changes while you sleep and you're picking up a different frequency, which would be another dimensional thing, an outside dimension thing. And that's what you're dreaming. And I've also talked about that with ghosts and stuff like that, is maybe they're not technically dead people. They're people in another dimension. You're seeing them, your father or your mother or your brother or your friend, they're still alive, but they're in the other dimension. And that's what you're seeing. I don't know.
Hey, Blackie.
Yes, sir.
Brother, have you had deja vu?
Oh, I believe in deja vu completely. Yeah.
Hey, brother, so me, I've had that sort of thing happen with me. I've been with places, right, on our Aboriginal, like we do our cultural stuff, and I met these people, brother, from overseas in England and everything, and they go, hang on, I know you. Yeah, because I've been in my, like I said, I used to do astral travel, see? I astral travel through my tribal way, you know, and it's tricky, man. And I met these people, and they met me in Australia. And I've
That's
gone,
wild.
oh, here we go. Yeah.
Here we go.
So have you had that in your time?
I have met people that swear they know me, and I've seen people that I swear I know them.
Mhm.
And there's been people that I've seen that look like people that I've known for years, but they have no idea who I am. And I'll go up like, hey, John, how's it going? And they just look like, my name's not John. Like, no, you're John. I went to school with you. You're John. No, I'm not. And I've had that quite a few times. Now, I know some people look alike. People have doppelgangers. But everything about the people that I was meeting that I thought were somebody I knew was exactly like that person was. So yes, I believe in deja vu, and I've been places where I like, sit back and go, I've been here before. I know what's going to happen next. And I'm definitely not a seer. So I wanted to tap, Twisted said your dream a different timeline. And I definitely believe that, that again, with what I was just saying, that you can jump from, I want to say dimension, but you're jumping from dimension to dimension, and your dreams are maybe you in the other dimension and what you're going through. Because there's a reason a lot of people say you don't see other people's faces in your dreams. Like I've been in 1,000 dreams and she's nowhere there face-wise. Maybe her body's there, maybe her person is there, but it's not her face. It's not a face. When somebody said that, I tried to make, okay, well, next time I'm dreaming, I'll try to imagine their face. Well, you can't do that. It doesn't work that way. But I can honestly tell you, voices, yes, faces, no. That's how I feel. So, but I definitely believe that we are, with the deja vu thing as well, and our dreams, we're moving something electronically in our body. Either there's a glitch or something that lets us think and see something that we haven't seen, or that our other selves somewhere else are experiencing. I know that's deep crap, but man, we don't know. But I can just tell you that if you hear voices of somebody you loved in your dreams telling you something, why wouldn't you think that possibly that could happen? So,
good question.
There's two.
Glitch and simulation. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Oh, I believe our lives are, when I saw the movie The Matrix, it made complete sense to me. I'm not saying we're a computer program, but when you have doppelgangers, they talk about our fingerprints being different on everybody, but some people's fingerprints are so close to each other that, has anybody paid attention to see if the fact that we not only fingerprints, but what about our faces? What if there is somebody out there that has this face besides me? I'm just going to say I pity them, but it could be true. I mean, what if there's another Jeff Yarrington out there? And maybe he doesn't swing from lines naked. Maybe he's a businessman, Maybe he's professional Jeff. That's the stuff that I think about, because we don't know anything about. All we rely on is what scientists tell us. Maybe what'd that say?
Maybe my doppelganger could take over.
Yeah.
But we're just peons in a world full of, in a universe full of things we don't know about. And that's why I've always said that if you don't believe there's life elsewhere, then you're not using your brain. If you don't believe in what other people see and all you're going to do is ridicule those people, then maybe you should stop and take a look at yourself, because you haven't seen it doesn't mean somebody else hasn't seen it.
Right.
And to ridicule those people is just stupid. Sorry.
Have y'all ever heard that we're actually, how you put this? Right now it's 2025, but they said we skipped 100 years and we really should be 1925. Y'all ever heard that before?
I've never heard that.
No.
I've not, but I'll check that out.
I don't know how to relate to that.
I've never heard that.
Well, it's just like we talk about history. History is written by man. Man is full of faults. Men are liars. Women are too. They're saying, I don't want to just throw men in there.
Jeez.
But I'm just saying,
Mankind.
mankind in general lies. We
Yeah.
know this. We've seen this in the past. Well, I'll just say X amount of years that we've seen so many lies throughout
Right.
time in general. So they always say that history is written by the victor. I believe that's an actual saying. I didn't make that up. So we don't really know what was here before us. If we, in my opinion, we live, we wipe ourselves off the face of the earth, we start all over again. It's just a timeline that keeps happening. And again, I'll go with dimensions. This dimension, we live, then we die. We start over here. We start over here. We start over here. And in the meantime, all these dimensions are going on, and we're living in each one. In this one, I could be 16. In this dimension, I could be 50, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And we're living all these crossed lives. I'm not saying that's true, but I like to be open and say something like that could be what's going on. Hence, go back to the dreams and deja vus and all of that. To me, that's my way of explaining it to myself.
That could also tie in with the us only using 10% of our brain.
It could be.
Right.
Or maybe we were created to only use 10% of our brain, because if we did more than 10%, we would see everything and be able to figure out everything and know what goes on in the universe or everywhere else. I don't know. Again, opinion. But
Mark, what does that mean to you? Because I had never heard that before about, 100 years difference.
I've read a little bit about it. I hadn't went real deep into it. That's just like the flat earth stuff and a lot of these other things that you hear and read. But it's talking about that back several centuries ago that there may have been a skip in time or something, and stuff it's like, I don't know how to explain it exactly, but it's like everything kind of just jumped time. And it because some of the calendars they say are off.
I have heard that.
Calendars are off, and of course, man's always playing with everything. We're always like we play with daylight savings, the standard savings. We play with stuff, and we play with the February 29th once every couple of years. The leap year.
Every 4 years.
Leap year,
Yeah.
We're
Night, Diane.
The leap years always kind of interested me.
Yeah.
well, let's also think about how many calendars have been created by mankind over the years.
Yeah.
Before we had the paper calendars we stick on the side of our refrigerators, what really existed? I mean, obviously there were different types, but there was, the Mesopotamians had a calendar, the Mayans had a calendar, the Neanderthals probably had something they called a calendar. When did we decide through all that time that our calendar was exactly what it needed to be? Our calendar is the right calendar.
We can't agree on that within the United States.
That's true.
Still,
right.
with daylight savings time.
Right.
Daylight savings time is one of the dumbest things ever.
Yeah, I don't know what that. Yeah.
Well, actually, a lot of countries do not start the first of the year at January like we do. Jews, I think the Jews or the Jewish, their calendar is totally different than ours. And I think the Chinese start the new year at a different time. And
I agree.
Certain other countries, do different times than we do. And so, I think a lot of things are hidden. They've been hidden for a purpose.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think over time, some of it's starting to come out a little bit. We just don't understand it all because we're all in that Western thinking. We're all Americans and we've been programmed to think Western style.
Yep.
That's because that's all we know.
We've been conditioned for a long time.
Yes. Yeah.
I've always said, and I've told this to my son since he was growing up, and lately he's been having the D word flying over their house, and he was trying to discuss with me what he thinks it is. And I'm just like, well, you know what? This is the easiest thing to do. Ask questions. If you ever are concerned or want to know something, the only way to check it out is ask questions and keep asking questions, because scientists will tell you one thing, research will tell you one thing, all these different groups will tell you something, but you need to keep asking questions. It's just like we talk about nowadays about mainstream media telling you something, and then you go on your YouTube and watch your podcasts and they tell you something else. Just keep asking questions. Prove to yourself what those answers are the best you can. And it goes back. Yeah, it goes back to Bigfoot. It goes back to UFOs. Keep asking questions, because there's people out there that don't want you to know this. They don't want you to know about Bigfoot. They don't want you to follow Bigfoot. They don't want you to follow your dreams. They don't want you to follow, well, not your dreams, but follow dreams that you have and research why you have them, or what food chemicals you might be taking that make you have those dreams. They don't want you to know that, because once we know that, we're opened up, our brains are open, and we're going to question, everybody's going to question everything, and their ability to control us, whoever it is going to go away. So ask questions, and like Mark said, research. That's the best way. Right. And you'll, like me, you'll prove things to yourself. You'll learn things, and just like, you know, I know a lot of people call it going down the rabbit hole. But when you start going down that rabbit hole, you need to control yourself, because some people do go out of, you know, go a little crazy about that. But when you go down the rabbit hole, research what you can about the things you want to know. And then when you find that out, yeah, I think that's the way to go through life. You know, again, I'll go back with history. It's written by the victor, and the story is gonna be what they wanted it to be, not what really happened. So anyway, you guys are so deep tonight. My mind wasn't ready for all these questions.
Yeah, Chad.
Sorry. You give me the chance to be on it. Go ahead, Mark.
I said our brains should always be working.
Absolutely.
We're always trying to figure something. You know, and hate to say it like this, but we're dumbed down now. You know, most people worry about watching the next new television show or making the next football game, which, don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking folks for that, but I'm just saying we get so like a cheese with a mouse. They keep putting the cheese over here, want you to go over here, and they don't want you to pay attention over here.
Absolutely.
You know, and it's, you know, we don't think no more. We don't try to analyze stuff or figure things out and look at everything from a different angle. You know, we're programmed, hey, you're going to do it this way, this the only way you're going to do it. And maybe I worded that right. I hope I did anyway.
No, Mark, that's perfect. That's exactly how I think. I you know, I've said it before on previous shows about, you know, with the chemicals they put in our foods and the fluoride and aluminum, I truly believe there should be no aluminum in anything that we put in our bodies. We do have a little aluminum in our bodies, but to drink aluminum, to brush our teeth with aluminum, or items that have aluminum in it, it makes no sense. It's a poison. You know, it's, you know, mercury is another one. All these different things, there's got to be a reason they're putting those in our food. And if you follow history and you follow conspiracy theories, you know that, if I can talk about this, I'll just say it real quick. The Rockefeller organization, which were the oil people, also created the pharmaceutical industry. That's really odd. So I'll let it go from there, because people can do research on that. And when you do, you'll be shocked to what you see.
Yeah, just follow that paper trail.
Absolutely.
Yep.
No.
You'll find out a lot of things you go to reading in there.
Yes.
It's like DuPont is a big name around here.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And you'll find out all of them's kin, too.
Yeah.
They all actually can if you go look at it.
And I wish everybody would realize that. It would be a much better world.
Yeah.
Mhm.
In fact, a lot of their testing stuff was in the next county over.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, DuPont was a big thing in Maryland, wasn't it?
yeah.
Yeah, we had them here when they had the war, when they had the
Mhm.
ammunition plant here at Chillsburg. It was DuPont during World War II in Korea, Vietnam.
My grandfather worked. My dad's father worked for them.
Yeah.
He was one of their big their guys when it came to figuring stuff out.
Right.
Side note, he
Yes.
worked on the Agent Orange containment system, which is a whole different subject. Whew.
Yep.
Agent Orange started a roundup.
Yeah. And look what happened. I knew multiple Vietnam vets that passed away from Agent Orange.
Yes.
And now Roundup is a cause of cancer. And
Yeah.
people are dying from that.
Yep.
So it makes you wonder why. You know they test it well. You know they test it. And you know they know the consequences of what could happen.
Yep.
Yeah.
Almost every person I knew that was in Vietnam has died from cancer.
Yeah.
And that's a sad thing. Yeah.
That or they have some pretty good health issues.
Uh-huh. My one uncle, he's still alive, but he's had like multiple bypasses and all sorts of health problems related to his time over there. So it's both of them actually.
So all I ask of people is just, it's nice to live our lives and enjoy everything and love what you have and love who you're with. But just know there's something dark going on. But in the same aspect, live your life. No matter what you find out,
Right.
you know, what they're doing to us, the chemicals they're feeding us, whatever. Live life the best you can and enjoy everybody. Enjoy
Right.
everything you do.
Just keep loving one another and
Yep.
do your best you can, you know. Oh, we lost Jerry a minute.
Yeah,
He said he'd be back.
he held up a
Oh.
finger. He had to go do something.
Oh, did you raise something? So yeah, I really didn't want to go this far into it, but it's kind of gotten, with that dream last night, it's got me to open up my mind even more to think about why we have these dreams that we have, why we even have dreams. I mean, it just seems like when you're asleep, you should be asleep, yet your brain still functions.
Yeah.
But why is it thinking of the things it's thinking of? You know, repressed feelings, repressed emotions, whatever. But, you know, when you feel like you've had physical contact in them, that's really crazy.
Imagine if you could unlock more than 10% of the brain, what you could do.
Right.
We don't yet. I mean, we don't know. I mean, that's the thing, is we can unlock 10% of our brain, and unless we're able to accept that fact of what, you know, not maybe some of these people that are in mental institutions, well, they're obviously not there now, they're out in the public, but maybe these people that were in mental institutions, maybe some of them did unlock and it drove them crazy. Maybe it did. I don't know. Maybe some of these people were just so out there and people thought
so much more.
Exactly. And people thought they were crazy. I mean, if you talk about like Einstein and some of these geniuses, people were saying there was something odd about them. They were weird people. You know, they were constantly doing math in their head and doing all this different stuff. Maybe there was a time when people thought those people were crazy. I don't know. Maybe we've had a lot of geniuses in mental institutions that we didn't know were geniuses.
Uh-huh.
Yep. Good possibility.
And the government said, well, now you're crazy because you know too much, or you're not supposed to know how to figure those things out. I don't know. No. I'll wait till Jerry comes back.
Yeah, my grandfather, when he did a lot of stuff for a lot of different outfits. I mean, he could figure out. I think he was one of those people that had a bigger part of his brain unlocked because he did stuff for. He was a civilian contractor for the U.S. government with clearances that even the military didn't have. So you explain that. He can work on stuff they couldn't figure out.
Again, we can go to that. We can go, there's government projects going on that we're never going to know about.
Yeah.
She said good night. She's going on to bed.
Good night, Becca.
Good night, Becca.
Anyway. So yeah, the dream thing got me thinking a lot more about things going on. And yes, Lavone, autistic. Elon Musk has what, Asperger's, which is a form of autism.
Mm-hmm.
That's they've talked about like the movie Rain Man, where he's autistic and he has the ability to count. They're super smart in certain areas.
Right.
So,
We could really open up a can of worms here if we wanted to.
Yeah, I'm really trying not. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know. I just said we can get deep. It's and it's a subject that really needs to be talked about more in depth. And
I agree.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot there to unpack.
And dreams could also be our soul talking.
Agreed.
It could be our soul, or it could be that part. Taking over more or something. And it's hard to say, but it could be where that comes in at.
And Mark, I've heard the thing that our bodies are just the vessel and our souls are the
right.
the actual living thing,
Right. Right. That's true.
What I wonder, I talk about some of these dreams I've had, like same place but different situations. I wonder if that's like in an alternate universe I'm dealing with that.
Not, babe.
Like what you were saying earlier. Like, I mean, I don't ever want to be fighting aliens hiding in my shop in the barn, but
still running out on that steer with that store.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's not fun to look at your office and see a T-Rex walking past and then trying to decide.
Come on, Jeff. Live it up, man.
Do I have anything big enough to take care of that?
You just need a small one. Just take yourself out. Then you don't have to worry about it.
Oh.
Then trying to figure out if I got enough room to hang that in the house afterwards. Might have a European mount.
No.
Yeah, you might have to clear a wall out.
Oh, Lord.
Well, I definitely appreciate you guys, talking about this, because again, it's something that shook me up pretty good last night. To this, even right now, it's still, when I go to bed, I know I'm going to think about it.
Yeah,
because it was so real, and it wasn't your typical dream. So to have contact or feel like there's contact on your body, that's not a typical dream.
Yeah.
I mean, when we were younger and we had dreams, we wish we'd have had that contact feel, but you know what I'm saying?
No comment.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, you had enough people in chat that said they'd had that same.
That's awesome.
So that's you're not by yourself on that. We've all experienced weird stuff at different times, whatever it may be, and and
all
I know it'll be on your mind a lot. Some
Well,
things you never forget either.
What's that?
And a lot of things you don't forget either.
Absolutely.
I don't forget a lot of stuff. And it's a pain in the ass having all that still in your head too. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Catherine said, Blackie, what would be your ideal alien sighting? Do you want to have an experience?
That's a great question.
That is a great question.
Mhm.
Part of me says yes. Probably from a distance. Not being abducted would be probably what I don't want to have, is to be abducted, I guess. But yeah, I do. I totally believe that there are extraterrestrials. I think they're living here now as well. I think they have throughout history, and they've molded the way of our lives are as far as civilization. But I really don't know if I'd have an ideal alien sighting and go, I'd like one to land next to me and come out and talk to me and sit on a park bench. I don't know about that.
If it talked to you, how would it talk?
It probably pig Latin.
Is it noises? Probably not words.
Clicks and beeps. I don't know.
Increase some waterway.
Talk to me.
Talking about Elon. That did anybody see that thing Misty was talking about with the Tesla trucks being able to detect the yeah.
Right.
Hey, by the way, guys, there is an app you can get for your phone. Let me see if I can find it. Here it is. It's called GhostTube SLS, and that's on iPhone.
I'm not downloading that.
And you know, when you see the ghost shows and you see the little green things, green lines, that's what it is. And she'll be in the kitchen and I'll point it at her and you can see it, like the green. So I haven't done it outside of here, but she has a person that she knows that did it, and it saw something moving. And it's supposed to have like the same thing that Tesla cars have.
I'm fine. I don't need it. This house is old.
You want to keep sleeping there, don't you?
Yeah. I'd rather see aliens than any stuff like ghosts or anything like that.
There's only been 3 families that have owned this property, okay?
There's no telling what's around us. We just don't see.
Yeah.
You know, at a given time, what's around us.
And Mark, I agree with you, and I still think I think part of that is we only use 10% of our brain.
Yeah.
And if we could open up, we might be able to see more light. We might be able to see more, vibrations, whatever.
Right. Well, that's just like during Vietnam. They come out with that night vision or thermal that they were using, but the soldiers were seeing all these demons and
you're talking about the starlight.
They had to do away with them. And
I heard about that.
Starlight scopes when they started using them.
What was that, Jeff?
Starlight was that was the original night vision they used.
Yeah. They had to quit using them because it's freaking all the soldiers out.
I guess so.
Yeah.
It's not enough. You have to worry about the enemy, but now you're seeing things that you definitely don't want to fight.
Right.
Another thing about those old night visions, I don't know if you ever picked one up, but those things were heavy.
Oh, yeah.
They were a piece of equipment.
It looked like you had like a spotting scope mounted on top of your rifle that you're trying to use in the dark. The whole thing weighed like 30 pounds with all that stuff on top of it.
Oh yeah. Technology has come a long way, hasn't it?
Yeah. One of the things I laugh about is think about when cell phones came out in the 80s and how big they were. And then everybody wanted this, as time progressed, we all wanted the super small cell phone. And now we're all heading back to pads and giant cell phones.
Right.
I remember people having the bag phones and
Look like a field.
There used to be a pay phone over here at the gas station. They finally got rid of it like a few years back, but we still had one of those.
Were people still using it?
For a while, yeah.
That was like the last
one in the county, I think.
I remember when I was growing up, across the river to call Birmingham. If you call Birmingham from our side of the river, it was long distance. Well, right across the river wasn't long distance. So everybody in this area would cross the river and go to that store. Had to pay phone to make your calls to Birmingham, like doctor's appointments and I mean, that tells you how far we've come since then. But
Right.
I remember people being lined up there to use the telephone, to save
Wow.
that money on them long distance phone calls,
Yeah. I remember those days.
And I remember the party line too. That was interesting too.
Yep.
What's the party line?
Oh,
That's funny. That's awesome.
That's when you own a circuit with your neighbors. In other words, if they're on the phone, you couldn't use it right then.
yeah.
And you had to take turns using it. Everybody had the same number.
Mm.
Yeah,
That's
that's
cool.
old party line
Doesn't
system.
sound like a fun
Or
party.
the old internet, you couldn't. What was it? You couldn't use the phone if you were hooked up to something. I'm trying to remember how that worked.
Right. Yeah.
The
I know
old
what you're talking
dial-up
about.
modem.
Yeah. Yeah, the
Yeah,
phone,
Jerry.
I think if you were on the
Jerry, you're
internet,
muted.
the phone wouldn't ring, I don't think.
Jerry, you're muted.
Yeah.
I was saying the modem that used your telephone line to go online back in the day before
That's
this
that's
area
right.
ever seen cable internet, and it was extremely slow. But you couldn't use your telephone if you were online.
Yeah.
Right.
They used your telephone to.
Right.
You couldn't
And it
use them
sucked.
both at the same time.
No. Nope. And it was horribly slow.
I remember
yeah.
my grandparents still had the old rotary.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I love
Hey,
the fact. I love that Jeff is telling us. I remember then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
remember then.
Right.
He actually
Yeah.
had that kind of stuff
Youngest
here.
Yeah.
Jeff, the only black eye I've ever had was a rotary phone falling off the bar, and I was sleeping on the hide a bed couch underneath it, and it hit me right in the eye.
Oh, that's horrible.
I remember just waking up, kind of feeling my eye, and I went back to sleep. The next morning to go to school, I had a yellow shiner.
Stop. You were able to go back to sleep?
I was. I just remember hearing it go bong, like the ringing of it, ding, like it was gonna ring.
It's called a
And, I remember
concussion.
kind of waking up like, oh man.
Oh
Right
yeah,
back-
the fax line sound.
Oh,
My grandparents' fax machine. Good God, that thing.
Never noisy. They were very
Those
noisy.
things made so much racket. I remember using them. We had one in the barn office. It was terrible.
That's funny.
We've come a
Pagers,
long way, haven't we?
pagers
Yeah.
too is another thing.
I don't know for the better though, Mark.
Right.
mm.
I agree with that too. I agree with that.
I always said I would never use my telephone for internet.
Yeah.
And the
No,
sad
no.
thing is now, we live by that. That's our
I remember in high school when we got flip phones, and I was like,
Yep.
"The hell, I can carry a phone now."
I'd like to know how in the world we ever texted with a flip phone.
I don't.
Oh my lord.
oh gosh, that's right. You had to hit like
Horrible.
hit it 2 or 3 times to get the letter you
Get the
wanted.
letter or number, yeah.
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 I remember that.
I remember if you had when they first had the car phones, if you had one of those, everybody thought you were like the
You were
big
rich.
deal.
Yeah.
Bell Atlantic. I had a Bell Atlantic until I got the first couple of bills. Yeah, I was done with it. I had a
Yeah.
bag phone too. I heard somebody mention a bag phone. But
Yeah.
What
I had one
is
of them too.
that?
It's like a military field phone back in World War II.
Yeah.
Picture,
How do
picture,
you,
picture,
I'm younger than you. How do you not know about these things?
picture a small laptop size, size with a bag that you zipper closed. That was your telephone.
Yep.
She
That's
must
what
have
it was.
lived in like an advanced area or something because I even remember this stuff.
I don't remember that.
Yes, Twisted.
I even remember before cable come out. I mean, we didn't have but 3 or 4
Yeah.
television
yeah.
channels.
Yeah.
Yep.
Before we got satellites and everything else.
I still see them old big satellite dishes around every now and then in somebody's backyard.
Yeah.
I guess they got tarred up. They took them down.
The boom box.
See them every once in a while.
The boom box.
We've been doing a
58
lot of
hard. Yep.
we've been doing a lot of these trivia things on YouTube. I'm impressed at the stuff she knows from my era, but there was some crazy stuff back then.
Yeah.
Not just
Oh, yeah.
music, but instruments, tools, stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
I remember back in the early video days, they used to film tractor pulls with a great big old VCR camera up on my shoulder.
Oh, my
yeah.
grandparents had those damn things.
And I wonder why I'm getting ready to go see a doctor after an MRI for my shoulder.
Oh man.
Was it really the drywall I was hanging over my head? Or was it them freaking huge cameras?
Yeah.
I swear, like everybody's grandparents had one of them gigantic damn.
Yeah, man.
Hey, my parents had them. Come on.
Remember TVs that had like it weighed like 1,000 pounds that you couldn't, and then when that TV quit, you used it to put the next TV on top of.
Yeah. And it was manual labor to turn the channels, like you had to
And then you lost the knob and you had to get a screwdriver or a pair of pliers or
buy
something.
scripts.
Yep.
I've got a few trucks over here that we do that with because the knobs fell off or my kid put them somewhere.
Those TVs were ridiculously heavy. I had one up until 5 years ago. Not here,
Which
but
one?
one of those big TVs.
Oh yeah.
Insane amount of weight. They are heavy.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
Nowadays, nobody stole TVs back then.
Yeah, no, it's-
You couldn't pick them
Oh,
up.
why?
You couldn't pick them up.
That's why it's so easy to steal things now. They make everything so light. You could just.
Yeah.
I moved it by myself the last time as I couldn't do it today. It's too heavy.
I tell you what else is a bear is old wood stoves.
Yes.
You've ever had to huck one of them things around,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
These pellet stoves are heavy.
especially
Yeah.
down a flight of stairs or something into a basement or out of a basement. Whew.
Yeah. They ain't light.
No.
You like,
Yeah, I remember you talking about TVs. My mom and daddy bought a brand new Curtis Mathis. That was a big brand back in Curtis
Yep.
Mathis.
Mm-hmm.
And we thought we was uptown with that Curtis Mathis, But you know what? That thing is still at my mother's house, and it's just like what Greg said. The other TV sitting on it because they made it out of
Yeah.
nice wood. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like a nice cabinet.
And
Yeah.
that thing usually had a full ashtray sitting on top of it too, depending on whose house you were at.
Yeah, boy, my parents didn't smoke, but yeah.
I remember the first color TV as I was a kid. It was a Zenith with legs.
Oh, yeah, I remember those, yeah.
TV with the long legs on it.
Yeah.
yes.
Then it went to RCA, and I don't know where from there. It's
Yeah, and then you had somebody had like the 12-pound ashtray that you could beat somebody to death
Mhm.
with.
yep. Coffee table always had an ashtray on it back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of them old ashtrays be them bag ashtrays made.
Oh, yeah, I remember those. Yeah.
Mhm.
I ain't seen none of them in a long time. You see the spit tunes too, pretty regular.
I had one of those. Somebody found them somewhere and gave me a couple of them old brass ones, and then I don't know what happened to them.
Old Pepsi bottle
Yeah,
or a can, a little peanut can, short peanut cans.
Yes.
but
You
too,
see-
you're talking.
How many here has a grandmother that chewed tobacco?
Not me.
I did.
I had an
Yourself?
uncle that
My great grandmother.
while he was smoking a pipe.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's classic.
My
He would put-
great grandmother was also German and drank warm beer.
Yeah.
Ew, warm beer.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's a delicacy in Germany.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
They drink their beer warm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even Irish drink warm. You know,
Oh,
it's
we
just-
do. Or we did. Of
we
course.
do.
I fancy warm beer over cold beer.
I'm mostly German, and I do not care for warm beer.
No.
Mm-mm.
That's great.
Well, does anybody have any questions or anything?
Yes, I got a question for you, Mr. Chad, if I may ask you.
Please do.
Okay. Are you getting sleepy yet?
Me?
Yeah. I'm being serious. I mean, what is your thoughts about? Am I going to climb in bed and have another experience? Am I going to be able to go to sleep? I mean, I've had times that it takes me a little while to get settled in.
I think I said a little, or you might have been gone at the time. It's like, I don't sleep as it is. That's what made yesterday or this morning, whatever, that much crazier to me is that I've had tons of dreams, but the fact that I don't sleep, that how much that made me feel. And yes, I will probably have issues laying there in bed tonight, wondering, am I going to feel that same thing again?
Right.
So, but
Do you have a recorder?
we don't record our sleep because she's afraid what she's going to see
Mhm.
because of
Okay.
her sleep patterns.
Okay.
She might actually be levitating in the middle of the night. I don't know. I know that was talked about.
As
She
long
does.
as she's not like sleeping upside down in a coffin or something, you
Well,
know.
not a coffin, but Catherine asks, do I take melatonin or anything to sleep? Catherine, I used to take some kind of sleep aids I could get at Walmart. I can't remember the chemical that was in it. I have taken melatonin. They do not help at all. I've tried sleep teas with, what's the lavender and I can't remember. None of that works. And I'm always open for something that'll help me sleep because sometimes I can't fall asleep, and then there's times where I wake up 2 hours after I fall asleep, and I'm awake all night. Once my brain starts, I mean, you've seen that here. Once I start running my mouth, that's the same way my brain works. It never stops. It just keeps going, and I'm thinking of everything under the sun, and that's why I can't sleep.
Keep that in mind, Jeff.
I've asked her to knock me out. Like, you know, here's a baseball bat, hit me in the head, knock me out. I might get some sleep.
No, to keep you awake.
I've tried all the natural stuff. Doesn't work. Smoke more weed.
I don't know.
I'll be honest. So I did some THC gummies to help me fall asleep. They had, forget what, I don't know what it was. It wasn't the good THC apparently. I did that with melatonin, and apparently THC creates melatonin. If I'm correct on that, I'm not sure. But apparently
that will put you to sleep, bud.
Oh yeah.
Apparently
I feed on melatonin, and when I got out of bed, the house was going from left to right like a ship, and I really thought I had what's that called? Vertigo.
Yeah.
I couldn't stand straight. I kept going and I had woke her up, and I was like, honey, there's something wrong with me besides normal things. And she was like, you're standing fine, but I kept going to the left and going to the right. And
Yeah.
I did research, and I found out that THC with melatonin is a bad mixture.
Mhm.
So I've decided not to do THC stuff anymore. Melatonin I've done since it still doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah.
So I don't know if anybody has any great country things to try. I'm more than happy to try them because I want it to be natural. And I have taken Ambien, Hillary. It helps me fall asleep, but does not keep me asleep. I like you will wind up in your PJs in Walmart at 3:30. That sounds like a personal story you might.
It does sound like it does.
$600 go home, paint your living room around your furniture.
Why not you have Hillary on to hear about this?
Exactly.
Oh goodness.
Sounds like
That's
a,
like-
a naked zip line adventure.
That does sound like that kind of story. Yeah.
After
Oh, my
hours
goodness.
at
Yeah,
Walmart.
right.
Yeah, after hours at Walmart.
Ah,
We watch a lot of after. Yeah. Yes, we have watched those Walmart
I'll tell you
videos.
something. There's some weird stuff that takes place after midnight at Walmart.
I've never been there after midnight. I
Hey,
don't-
Waffle House too, Jeffrey.
I'm
Waffle
gonna be
House.
honest with you.
too.
I'm surprised I haven't seen Bigfoot walking through Walmart at 2 a.m.
Not really caring because he knows nobody. They're going to think he's a guy in a costume or something.
Exactly.
I've definitely seen some things that could pass for cryptids in Walmart at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Oh yeah,
We call those crack addicts.
Mhm.
yeah.
Getting
Yeah,
ready to
so
go on a
that's-
fishing trip.
That's some of them folks that don't come out during the daylight hours.
Yeah, there's a
Exactly.
reason.
Mark,
There's a
absolutely.
reason certain people come out after midnight at Walmart.
And a good Denny's restaurant too. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And Phyllis, I love Waffle House too. It's just very interesting at some points of the evening.
Honestly, I'm more concerned about what I'm seeing at Walmart after midnight than what I'm running into in the Waffle House.
Yeah.
I've Christmas shopped after midnight in Walmart's before, just to be,
Oh,
not have to deal with crowds. But I think I'd rather deal with crowds.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that. I'll leave
Hey,
it
it's because there's safety in numbers.
Yeah. Yeah, it gets a little creepy at Walmart after midnight.
One time I got mad at that self checkout thing and just left everything and walked out in the middle of the night because that place was weird and that thing was not working and I wasn't sticking around. To, I was
don't
like,
blame
well,
you.
we'll just chalk this up to a lost cause.
Yeah.
Ours still hadn't opened up back up 24 hours. They're 6 to
Wow.
11 every night.
Is that
Yeah,
wow.
ours closed. Well, ours here and Ohio closed at 11.
11?
Still.
Ours are wide open 24/7. Everyone in the county here, right, Jeff? We got what, 3 of them?
Yeah, I don't know where
Yeah.
all them people going now after midnight because ain't nothing open no more. So
Yep.
I guess they out riding the roads, I guess.
You see those juicy pajama bottoms there? That's your 24 hour
Yeah.
You see a lot of people walking around. I'm surprised some of them are wearing pants.
Yep.
I get tickled. There's a girl at work that comes in every night. She comes to work about the same time I do. And she'll be going across the parking lot in her pajamas and her house shoes to go put her uniform. You know,
I don't get it.
we have to wear a uniform, so she changes, but I get tickled, she'll have them big pink fuzzy house shoes on,
Wears them into work.
I hope she doesn't wear them actually in her house.
Yeah. I have to laugh because I see pictures from the 20s and 30s when every guy had a suit on, every woman had a dress on.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, that was a cool time. And I look now and we're wearing, the clothes we're wearing. Let's just say that.
I got
The
pajama
clothes you
pants
see
on
at
right now.
Walmart. I'm just baffled that we've kind of went from an era of being really proud of who we were and dressing the way we were to just, I think today I'll wear sweatpants and a sweatsuit with
Oh,
something
Yeah.
written on it and go to Walmart or go wherever. It doesn't matter anymore. I know there were restaurants when I was a kid that people dressed up at.
Yeah.
And then later down the road, you'd see people in like a rock band T-shirt and jean shorts, and you're like, "What happened to going somewhere nice and dressing classy?" And
Yeah.
Like the old way everybody used to dress to play golf.
yeah, well, that's one sport that people still dress nice. It's just the colors have gotten a little outrageous, and some of the designs have got a little outrageous.
Yeah.
I know because of that guy. So I wear odd colored shirts. I'll wear my kilt, whatever it is. I'll do it.
You don't go golfing in a kilt, do you?
I have.
Oh, Lord.
I have.
Nice.
And I've got a kilt picked out for whoever has the next meet and greet. I'm showing up. I bought a nice olive drab kilt that's got it's a tactical kilt, and I'm ready to go. I'm ready for the next meet and greet.
I think that's cool.
So what family is you out of, Chad?
I'm actually Irish. So if you know how it worked, the Scottish had the tartans. They had all the different color tartans. The Irish had one tartan, which was either green or green, red, white, and orange, like the flag.
Right.
So I have that tartan, but I also have odd ones that I bought, like my olive drab one. I have a solid black. I have a purple and black. I don't know if anyway, I've got multiple, but I don't have a family tartan because we were Irish, and my family's name was Orion.
Oh, okay.
So obviously Irish. And when I was younger, I didn't really know anything about my family, but as I got older and loved the Irish, I asked my mom, I was like, well, ask your grandmother. Her mom's from Ireland. And like, oh, this is awesome. It explains why I like to drink beer. You know, that's just
well, I got a little bit of Irish, but mostly I have a lot more Scottish and German, and then Viking is the biggest one. But
okay.
Wow.
But
Nice.
yeah, my people were the Campbells and the Robinsons from Scotland,
Campbell?
and the Tates.
Yep.
So there was 3 different colors there. I've been thinking about ordering me the Campbell one since they were the predominant family. You know,
do it.
Yeah, my grandmother's German, and her last name was Hetch. That's about as German as you
can get. Yeah.
Yeah. And then my dad's side's Welsh. And apparently we came from a line of cattle rustlers in Wales for some reason.
There's some zipliners in your family too.
Exactly.
What'd you say, Jerry?
I said I heard you had quite a line of the family was heavy into ziplining back in the day.
Oh, yeah. You know, because they had those things back in the day, you know.
What things, Jeff? What things?
Zip lines.
Okay. Did they have clothing too, or?
Oh, I think so.
There's a place in Tennessee called the Bigfoot Camp. They got a big zip line there, and one of their commercials is a dude on a zip line in a Bigfoot suit flying across that zip line. It's funny. It's there. Well, it's kind of right in there around where Roger lives at, right in that neck of the woods there. And pretty cool looking to him flying.
Oh, there's a good one. Zip line and a kilt.
There you go.
Hey, you never know, Jeffrey. We'll have to get you one.
I'll have to call Joey and see if the zip line's still operational.
Shoot, I probably wouldn't trust that cable now. It's probably got a lot of rust in it.
Hillary, you say Hinkle. Do you have a trucking company in a family? I know a Travis Hinkle.
Mark, we had to do some repairs to that zip line. It got nicked by a 22-250.
Oh, yeah.
Not really sure what was going on there when that took place. But
maybe they've been trying to get rid of it.
Yeah.
I'm thinking he was trying to remove a critter that was probably hanging from the cable or something. I don't know what.
Or going down the zip line.
Yeah, something on the zip line. Maybe there was a booger on the zip line. We had some odd things go on around that quarry.
Yeah,
that quarry.
Boogers like to hang around old quarries.
That quarry is not very far from one of the BFRO reports for this county. So we experienced some weird stuff over that quarry.
Maybe when I come up, we can go check it out.
Maybe.
There you go.
Yeah, Hillary, it'd be like Upper Tract and Seneca Rocks area, one side of the mountain or the other. I'm not sure where the company is. He was a tractor puller at one time too. Yep, that's cool. You said might be a distant relative. How about that?
I know there's some places around those quarries. I didn't like going in there at night.
No,
unless there was a whole bunch of us.
to this very day, no.
Yeah, yeah.
No, especially over on the Stateville side of the stuff.
Hey,
Over here.
you know what place always creeps me out? Paper Mill Road, the bridge.
Oh yeah.
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 People have told me some pretty crazy stuff about Paper Mill.
You need to get up here, Mark.
Friend
Chad.
of ours
Erica.
told me that he left they left one of their trucks parked there and they left like baby powder or something like out on the back of it to see what would happen. And they came back and there was handprints and stuff in it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Like children's handprints.
Wow.
Yeah.
Quarries have a history, yes. Yep.
Yes, quarries
These do for sure.
I saw a pair of red eyes by that one quarry down in the drop off one time, and I'm pretty sure that wasn't a possum.
Yeah.
Probably not. Probably not.
Let's just say there was a bunch of us, and whoever had the double barrel we put in the back in case something.
The double bleed, the double pew pew.
I left mine at the truck because it was raining. I don't know why we decided to hike up to that old fire tower after dark. It was a terrible idea.
Yeah,
Sounds
Hillary,
fun to
down the
me.
line there, real quick, Hillary. His name's Travis. Travis Inkle. Anyway.
Well, that's weird. My comment stopped at 9:32. That's weird.
Weird.
Huh.
Well, that's weird here. It's not even 9:42 yet.
Well, that's
Shut up, David.
11:45 here.
Jerry. Shaw was just saying about Carroll County. That's another place I always feel weird when I go to.
Jeff, any county in this state is weird. It really is. You stop and think
You
about
think doesn't Carroll County have a Bigfoot festival or something? Don't they do like a?
it. I'm not aware of one.
I thought they had like a.
Not aware of one. We can make one. Yeah, even down on the shore, down on the eastern shore. I mean, it's flat, a lot of farmland and stuff. But like I say, BFRO had a report down in there, down in the Pocomoke area. So
Pocomoke. I've heard stories about Dogman in Pocomoke too.
Pocomoke, yep. That's an interesting area down there.
Yeah, I think Mark and I have talked about. Mark was asking me about Pocomoke a while back.
Yeah.
I think it was that area.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's reports out of there. Yep.
There's got a lot more reports in Maryland than folks realize.
Mhm.
You know, there's a lot more there.
Yeah, and I'm gonna reach out to the guy that wrote the book.
Yeah.
So see when that's being re-released, so we can all get copies of it.
Right.
I'm gonna
wish I could
buy
do
a
that
bunch of copies when that thing comes out.
Yeah,
That's
I
a long
love it.
reach for you, Jeff.
Tal Banco was to put his book back out, but that probably won't happen. You know, it'd have to be
Man.
his.
Yeah, I'm looking. We're constantly looking for one. Hopefully, one day we'll stumble across one.
And I'm just still floored at the amount of sightings we got in this county compared to the rest of the state. Drives me nuts.
You should read Sean's comment, Jeff, in the chat. I'm not going to put it up here.
Oh, man.
That's a good one, Sean.
Oh Lord, now.
Smart move. Anyway,
I guess I don't need to know about
I'm
that.
sorry. I'm sorry, Sean, for even getting you involved with that mess.
damn troublemaker. Damn you, Jeff. What in the world? Wake up, Erica.
We could have had some more guests if it hadn't been for her.
All right. Let's leave it there.
Leave it there.
Leave it there. Wow. What an interesting chat evening here. Blackie,
Hey.
you did a good job, brother.
Oh, thanks. I'm just glad people had things to throw in there with me. I want to
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to know what was going on, or if anybody else has had the same experiences.
It's not anything we discussed is uncommon. I mean, I think a lot of people experience it, whether they talk about it or not.
Right.
But there's a lot of crazy sleep stuff out there.
And again, like I said, maybe we should start questioning why we have the dreams we have.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Is it chemicals? Is it misfire, of our brains or whatever? I don't know. I listened to Jeff's story, so obviously there's a misfire of the brain last week.
Wow.
Wow.
And my brain misfires all the time.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that, brother. There's nothing wrong with that.
Hey, well, you kept Jeff engaged all evening.
Hey, there is an accomplishment. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate that.
I made sure there was plenty of coffee.
Well, thanks.
Yeah, Thundercloud, right? Jeff, you see that
Yeah,
question from Robert?
Thundercloud.
I forget his first name. His last name's Thundercloud. He is a Native American, yeah. Carrie, okay. Yep.
Yeah,
That's
I
the
think
first one that comes to my mind, yeah.
I've talked to a few people that knew him, but he hasn't. I don't think he really does anything anymore.
Can't find him.
I still wish I could get
David
Squatch
Thundercloud. David Thundercloud, that's his name.
Watcher. Yeah.
Hey, Bud, don't throw that on me.
If he talk.
Bud, don't throw that at me. I don't need that prophecy.
What'd you say, Mark?
Said y'all might need to look him up and see if you can talk to him.
I actually made an attempt here, right after this show started, I think, right after Jeff and I started this.
Was that Thundercloud or was that Squatch?
It was Thundercloud. No, Thundercloud. Well, we're
I
trying to get a hold of him too.
I don't know what happened to that.
With Thundercloud, I wish I could get, Bob Chance on here.
Oh my God.
He'd keep us entertained for hours if he'll talk again.
As far as Bigfoot in Maryland, he was the guy.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. A lot of stuff. Years and years and years.
Too far from Jerry and I either.
It's right here in the county. He's a retired teacher. I went to one of his seminars. It was awesome.
He'd basically be the Coonbo of Maryland.
But it's just he doesn't talk and he doesn't do anything with the subject anymore. Nothing.
No.
Absolutely nothing.
Well, back when he was doing it, it was really taboo of a subject.
Oh, it would have been the 70s.
Yeah. It wasn't like now.
76, 77 maybe. But he did it. He was in a video on one of the local news channels that I've shared with you, Jeff. Trackways of Falston when it snowed down by the Gunpowder River, Gunpowder Falls area here. And I don't think he did much after that. I'm wondering if he wasn't dealt some threats or something.
Oh, wow.
It just, I can't explain to you guys how much Footcast's audio is incredible, Mark. His audio he had was just freaking unbelievable, some of the stuff he had.
Yeah, I wish I could have heard some of that.
It's all gone. Yeah, he's probably still got it, but it's put away.
Yeah.
There's no desire there. I just wonder if he didn't get threatened or something by a 3-letter agency or something.
Most people that know anything in Maryland don't want to talk about it.
Yeah. I don't know. We got two military bases here, so. And the godfather of the subject has spoken of the one here, so.
Yeah.
And clearly stated, yes, they are there. So, my father worked there at high secrecy or clearance. He was a security guard for a while there. He never seen anything, but he said there's some pretty barren lands down in there.
Well, that's like my friend that's got the cloaking picture. He worked on the base, and he said there was some weird stuff.
Wow. Phyllis, we got to have pictures. Come on now. We always pick on Jeff.
or audio.
Record him.
Yeah, audio recording.
Come on, Phyllis. I got an idea. tie a fake spider on a string and dangle it down in front of him.
Yeah.
Touch his nose with it a couple of times. Make sure you're filming so you hear him scream.
Oh man.
But I want to also
So
say
we're talking about APG and
Edgewood Arsenal
the Arsenal.
and APG. APG is the big base. But,
I've bow fished at night up against both of those areas. I can tell you, there's
was it our second or third show? We had a guy lined up from the Edgewood Arsenal
from
area.
Edgewood.
I mean, he sounded like it was some really cool stuff.
Yeah, and he backed out.
Backed out, never talked. Ain't heard from him again. So,
Oh wow.
He was gonna take me down there and show me where it was, because that pond is still there.
mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of swampy waterway down through there.
Also got that. If I'll see if Elaine can talk her into it. The friend of hers that saw the dog man in the trailer park down there.
But hey, we got to go and coming Tuesday. Harley will be back on the show with us. Harley.
Yep.
That's
Nice.
And then the following week, Flat Rock.
Flat Rock will be here in 2 weeks. Yep. So
Awesome.
and we've got a list of names here. I mean, we still constantly look for local people. By all means, everybody that comes on is important to us, but we really want them local people.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, we it's here somewhere, Jeff. We got quite a list of people here lined up. So, well, we don't have dates for everybody yet.
I tell you, it's a damn trying to get people to talk around here is like pulling teeth.
Yeah, that's to be expected.
Yeah, it's hard to get folks on, and I mean, you got to work with people's schedules and your schedule, and
no.
And then you get somebody that really wants to talk, and they just clam up.
Yeah, and like me trying to interview people, you know, outside the live.
Yeah,
you know, just like when I go interview somebody that had a sighting, you know, you got to find that place to do it and make that time, and it's tough. It's tough to do it, you know.
You talk in your sleep, Chad?
I don't think so. Do I talk on myself? Well,
I do.
I haven't.
She
heard
would
it.
know.
I haven't heard it.
yeah, I don't think
That's
so.
because you're asleep.
That's
Well, I have. No, he's just not.
I don't think I do. I mean, I haven't talked loud enough to wake myself up.
I've heard him asleep. I've never heard him say anything.
Most
I'm
people do.
smart enough to wake myself up.
I've heard that before. Not you. It's not like I was. It's not like I was in the same.
He probably
Never mind.
snores loud enough you could hear him down here in Tennessee.
Pretty much everyone here's heard me snore. So
Oh,
Mark
man.
knows. Mark's heard him snore.
knows, yeah.
Yeah, I can testify to that one.
Jeff, are you asleep? Jeff, are you asleep?
Jeff, are you a back sleeper or side sleeper?
I start out on my back. And
That's probably when you do your snoring there.
Yep, I bet.
It was crazy that night. I was driving to work. Well, he was just talking, both of us, and then all of a sudden it got real quiet. I said, Jeff, did. I said, all right, buddy. We'll holler at you later.
2 hours later, I wake up.
What's
And
it,
I'm
the
like,
last,
no, I guess I fell asleep.
last Bears and Boogers show? Is that one or the time before we got the show done? And he was pretty drowsy.
Yeah.
He was toast.
When he's sleeping that night?
Yeah, he was sleeping. We went on
I
ahead and logged off.
Yeah.
And we talked backstage, and he's just, man, my Lord, he was sawing away like a good old steel chainsaw, boy.
I thought when I got a big boy chair here instead of that leather one that I would put back in, that it would keep me a little more awake.
Yep.
It's just as bad.
Do you have to get rid of the high chair because you're so short?
The other one was real short. Like I had to change my setup. I think
Short. Wait a minute. How can something be too short for you?
Oh man.
I don't know. Somehow I hit my head getting in my Dakota sometimes. I don't know how that happens.
Well, that's a small truck, so.
High chair. Or a high chair.
I think
High chair. Yeah.
my seat's
You got a new nickname, Jeff. Y'all gonna have to call him High Cheer some night.
Little tight.
Yeah.
The high chair egg.
Oh, there we go. Look,
He might fall
taller.
and crack. You can't put him up on a high chair.
I'm higher
Nice.
now.
Now he's sitting on a bar stool on a step
Yep.
ladder.
Man can bite a cigar and snore sitting up straight. You're right, Patrick. He's got first-hand experience of that.
Don't put me in a massage chair, Catherine.
Wow.
Hey, I look taller now.
You
There
do.
you go.
He's a big man.
Look who grew up. He's such a big boy now. Pinching his cheeks. I'm trying to with the camera.
Well, it's funny because
Yeah.
Greg House always told me, he's like, I didn't think you were that short. You
Oh,
look way
man.
taller on the camera.
Do you have a card that says you represent the Lollipop Guild?
No.
No.
If you guys don't know that, never mind.
Aw.
They
Wizard
don't
Rock.
know half of them.
We love you, Jeff.
For the longest time, we weren't going to tell Spencer that I was shorter than him. We kept making him think that he was tall, that I was taller than him.
Oh
No.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never forget the first time I met Spencer. He got out of the truck here at the house, and I said, "You're a little bitty fella."
Did he pull up? Did he
He's-
pull up in a Hot Wheel?
No, but you could tell that got off with him. You know, a little while later, he said, "You ain't gonna start messing with me about being little." I said, "No, I ain't gonna be messing with you." So,
No.
Mark wouldn't.
oh me. Every now and then, I still
He's fun
call
to
him
mess
Possum
with, but
every now and then when he makes me mad or something.
You're a little bitty boy.
Little bitty boy.
little people.
Well, Mark's probably 6'4" or 6'5", so everybody's a
Yeah.
little bitty.
I'll tell you what. I'm 5'9", and everybody in the South is way taller and way bigger than I am.
Mark's a
And I'm
big
going to say
boy.
that's attributed to good food. How's that?
Yeah.
That's it. My parents are short, but I'm 6'2".
Wow.
My dad's was 5'9" and mom's 5'5" or something like that. Yeah.
I'm the second shortest one in the family.
Second shortest.
Is your kid the first?
No, my aunt.
Yeah.
My kid's gonna be taller than me.
What, 12?
He's 6 right now, but I guarantee by the time he's 12, he's gonna be.
Yeah, I'm just kidding with you, Jeff. I don't know.
He's only got to go past 5'1", so
Oh me.
Well, everybody on his mom's side of the family is like 6'1" or taller.
Mhm.
There's like, there's a lot of them that are like 6'4".
yeah. My mom's side, all the brothers were tall, over 6 foot.
My mom was tall. She was like 5'10". My dad was like 5'8". My sister Sandy's 5'11".
Wow.
Did
Yeah.
you say Dee Dee's like 4'10"?
Dee Dee's 4'11". Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Cindy's
you're
almost as
taller
tall
than
as me.
I'm taller than my
I
dad.
know.
Nice.
And I'm 5'2.5".
You're
5'2"
5'2"
and a
now.
half. Wow.
I think my girlfriend's she's 5'1", I think. Something like that.
Jeff, is that on 4 legs or?
David went there.
David's getting wild tonight.
Who is this guy speaking right now?
Yeah. Are you
Oh,
sure
most
you didn't
cougars-
get? You sure you're not abducted? Are you talking to the same person?
Most cougars do walk around on 4 legs.
That's what I was saying.
Oh
Oh,
Lord.
Sorry, I went there.
Oh, this took a way different turn.
oh me.
Wow.
Oh, now I'm sweating.
Shots
Shots
fired.
fired.
Oh
Uh-oh,
boy.
Greg's here. Here we go.
I'm back.
I'm back. I had a phone call.
You must have been talking to Billy or something. 3-hour phone call.
It's
Speaking
probably
of, I didn't-
Coonbo.
Yeah, I didn't see Billy tonight.
It was probably Coonbo.
I was going to say that A Touch of Beauty really did a good job with Kumbo.
Yeah, I gotta
that
get
was
that
awesome.
Two
one.
interviews it's been on. It's awesome.
Mark, didn't
That's
they
pretty
come
good.
see you too?
Yeah, I think it's supposed to come out sometime this month. Me and Superflies. Yeah.
Awesome.
Good.
Yeah, they're real nice. They're
Their
real nice
interviews-
bunch of people, you know.
Their interviews are awesome. They really are.
Yeah.
They're coming back to Alabama. They're wanting to come back, and I think they want to get Flat Rock, and I think I'd like to get Greg.
Oh, yeah.
But they said they're going to come here and visit me here. So, because I went up to Anniston, met them up there, but they wanting to come see Hollins, and they want to go see Creepy Mountain, but I don't know if I carry them up there on Creepy Mountain, not being ugly, but I don't know if I need
Yeah.
to or not on that one. But
That's probably a good idea. You don't want, I don't know how many researchers go up there, but you don't want to bring that up there.
right. Well, they brought your name up, Greg. So I think they only had so many people they could get to that weekend when they was here. So I think they're coming back. They said they're gonna come back because they're gonna hit you up and Flat Rock and I think Mr. Dale. I think they want to make it an Alabama thing. So, but they real nice people. I didn't really feel nothing bad from them, or
It seems like they do a pretty good job with that stuff.
yeah.
I see they're
they
doing
seem-
live shows now too, like podcasts. Yeah, like we're doing. So to speak.
Yeah. Yeah, they seem like a good group of people.
Look,
Yeah, he did BF. He did mention. I done talked to Chris. Yeah, everything's set up good, ready to go.
Cool deal. Well, it's midnight here. Jeff's still awake.
well, then I consider this a success.
Yeah.
He's been an
The
enjoyable
Holy
show.
Envoys.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something different, something different topic. Pretty cool.
That's what Greg was. Where's Touch of Beauty? Where are they from?
Oregon.
Oregon.
Wow. There you go, David.
David country.
You're muted, David.
I didn't know that.
Your dog probably stepped on the thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was.
I think they're
Come
right
on,
around
man.
Portland, somewhere in there around Portland. I think what they said.
Come on, Nick. Thank you.
Well, I don't see any more questions.
Nope.
So, Mark, thanks for jumping on with us. I appreciate that.
Hey, I appreciate y'all letting me come in. Usually I'd be at work, so I've enjoyed hearing what you had to say about your dream, and that's what we do, man. We get on these podcasts and talk about stuff,
Yeah.
We might not figure it out, but we'll find out other people's had it too, and
Sometimes these podcasts are like psychiatrists, but they're cheap, right?
Yeah.
that's it. They are free.
This is free. This is what I refer to as my free therapy.
There you go.
Yeah, Robert, it's called A Flash of Beauty. Correct. Yep.
Yeah,
I've been watching her
enjoyed
shows for quite a while.
Well, I told Jeff when I got on this new shift, I said, I'll be able to help y'all out if you ever want me to come on. He said, well, get ready for it. You're going to get called a lot. So I said, I messed up my foot in my mouth.
You're right, Sean. That's why we do it. We ain't doing it for notoriety. We're doing it to live and learn.
Yeah.
That's right.
Everybody gets a fair shake here. So
That's
and
it.
we ain't gonna talk about you afterwards. I can promise you that. Not bad anyway.
You see what?
I've had a few people try to do that, and I just turn them off. I just
Good.
hey, we're not going down that road.
No. Nope.
Greg said nobody used the term flash of beauty when Jeff was on the zip line.
Woo.
Oh,
What if
boy.
we got a wreck on that plane being naked? That'd been rough, wasn't it?
And it was cold.
Yeah.
And I did have a friend out there in a canoe in case something went wrong and I had to be rescued. But he didn't want to have to drag me into the boat. Fortunately, I was able to swim to the shore. So
Yeah.
Wow.
he didn't have anybody else in the canoe. That way he had plenty of room in case I had to get in.
Right.
We'll do another 4 minutes. We'll go at least 4 more minutes. That'll put us at 3 hours. That's halfway to Roger. So
Yeah.
Hell,
Hey,
we've gone
time went by
4
pretty
plus
fast.
hours on after hours.
what'd you say, Mark?
I said, pretty good. This went by pretty quick.
It did.
Yeah.
Good.
I didn't know that Woodwalkers was on last night after everybody left from the fire pit. I came in the house and crashed because I'm fighting a cold too, and my back's been killing me, and my knees been killing me this week. And after everybody left, I think the smoke stirred me up more.
Oh, yeah.
I just went on to bed.
No.
Mark, I had a fire yesterday, and the smoke kept blowing in my face no matter where I went. And yesterday or this morning, was it this morning?
It was Friday night.
Okay, Friday night, and I could not get. I'm just coughing and coughing and coughing. So I don't know what happened there.
I tell you, sometimes fire follows me around whenever I got one out here in the yard. I can't get away from the damn smoke.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Or you accidentally melt your shoes on the fire.
Done that before. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I heard a funny story about Pat Noble setting his on fire at one of the, I don't know, it was Hollands or where.
I think it was Holland's, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe now I must have missed that part, but
It could have been LBL.
Might have been LBL.
well, I was at LBL too, so I don't know. So much went on at these two meet and greets, I couldn't keep up with it all.
Pat said he melted his shoes somewhere.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, that's probably
I remember
LBL.
that.
That's probably LBL.
Yeah.
You,
Yeah,
They
uh,
got pretty. It was pretty darn cold at LBL. It was rough up there.
you don't zip
That
line
wind
over
was
forest
blowing
fires.
off
do you?
that water. It was tough.
Zip
David
line.
T, he was there. It was rough and posing there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You don't zip line over forest fires, do you?
Now,
Goodness
No.
gracious. I'll just leave it at that.
zip
Well, he said Hollands, so
Hollands.
that was probably the same night as Zipper got unzipped in the tent.
His tent zipper.
Yeah.
Yeah. Make sure you say that right.
Yeah.
I think that happened to him that first night when his zipper tent got undone. I think that was first night.
Yeah.
That still didn't sound right, Mark.
Yeah, I know. I caught that. Yeah. I tried to correct it real quick. So.
Because if you're in a tent, single or by yourself, and your zipper comes down, you probably won't argue with that, right?
I mean, who would?
Nah, he said it wasn't the first night, so I'm all wrong about Pat. He done. I've got it all wrong.
I remember Billy saying there was a bunch going on that night. The tent got unzipped.
Yeah. Well, I know that first night, with Rebecca, I seen them little rocks coming in there when her and Blue Eyed and Joe and Billy and I can't remember who else was already there. Them little rocks were coming in there hitting their grill and everything. That's the night I had gone to work. I went down there and set the camper up and then that last night we was there, a lot of stuff went on. It wasn't but a few of us left. It got interesting that night,
What in the world is that?
I was going to ask somebody's got somebody walking around or something.
My dog.
Is that your dog?
I got hardwood floors.
He is on the zip line, is he?
House, so.
Is he on the zip line?
Somebody walking around.
That's what it sounded like. Or a zip lining or something.
Just my old lab.
The one you had to chase across the field before you come on?
She went over to my neighbor's house. She wanders over there. I don't know what in the world maybe she's going to say hi to the boogers in the tree line. I guess they must have some sort of agreement.
Yeah, definitely meet and greet. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's on
it
the
was
bucket list
amazing.
to get my butt south. Get down there and have a good time for a weekend or whatever. A week. If I'm going that far, I'm staying longer than a weekend.
Yeah, you need to come on and stay for about a week.
Yeah.
Yep.
That way we
It
can show
was-
you some other stuff around here.
Mhm.
You couldn't do everything in a weekend.
No way.
No,
Down there.
no.
I've got my own bedroom to bring with me, so
You already gonna have a 12-hour drive here already,
Yeah.
yes.
and you're gonna be wore out from that 12-hour drive. So
Especially willing an RV, you bet.
yeah, oh, yeah, you need a good
Definitely,
week.
I don't know what if Jerry's going, but I'm definitely trying to get to that show camp out with
Yeah,
Mary
gonna try.
Fabian and them
That's 2 hours away.
in April.
That's an easy drive. Yeah. We plan to. I got to pull that weekend, but one of the other days, I'm sure I can sneak in there for a day.
I'm gonna be up in my trackway country the weekend before, so might have a lot going on those 2 weeks.
Okay, we're 2 minutes past. Here comes that 10-hour goodbye. Actually waiting to see if he falls asleep yet. So
Uh-oh.
He's getting ready. He's
Poor
getting
buddy.
ready.
let me see if I can hypnotize him real quick. Hold on, let me find a pendant or something. Here, we'll use the Don here.
Here's the top.
We'll use the Don. Donald Trump, little statue of Donald Trump. Anyway.
Careful, it might trigger someone.
Oh my Lord. Jerry said the S word. What'd I say?
Leap.
Oh,
Sleep.
sleep.
Yeah.
I was gonna say. It's not like I would have said shit or anything, so
Good night, John.
Yep. Good night, John. Mark, I hope you get to feeling better, brother.
Oh, I will, man. I will. Good
Yeah,
Lord
definitely.
willing, I will.
All right.
Man,
Anything
Thanks,
else
everybody.
there, Brother Blackie?
Nope, that's it. I appreciate everybody listening to my story and throwing some ideas and let me hear your stories.
Yeah, I would have told you the one I had last night, but I haven't told the wife yet, so
No, don't.
I
Yeah,
feel
don't
right
do
now.
that.
Yeah, might want to leave that alone.
Yeah.
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 Oh yeah, trust me, she's in there sitting waiting. I'm sure to hear. She ain't sleep yet.
Yeah.
She's one of them. You started, you better finish.
Uh-huh.
So it's all good.
Thanks for visiting the old Beards and Boogers and giving us
Yeah, man.
give us a thumbs up, and hopefully you liked the show.
Rate it's going. This show's going to take over old line Cryptids and wad it up and throw it away.
And you did good,
That's what
Chad.
people looking
Oh,
for,
you did
man.
awesome,
Place to
man.
come laugh and cut up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, it was kind of serious tonight, but that's okay. Chad had something on his chest. He wanted to get it off his chest, and I said, you know what? We'll just turn the whole show over to him. Just let him run it off.
I
So,
thanks for
you
that.
did good,
You know,
brother.
I appreciate that. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Thanks, guys.
I'd let Jeff do that, but he just worries me too much still. So
I shouldn't be in charge of anything.
I don't need any
well,
zip lining lessons. So
I enjoyed it, and I appreciate y'all asking
Thank
me
you,
to be
Mark.
on.
yep,
Yeah,
we
thank
enjoy
you,
having you
Yeah,
on.
telling you. So I'm gonna
Yep.
get on out of here and
Yep.
love y'all. Y'all have
Love
a
you
good
too,
week.
buddy.
Right back, brother.
You too, Mark. Be blessed, brother.
Thank
All
you.
right. Bye bye.
Good night.
And then there was 4,
All right, kids.
5.
Need to
Huh? What's this?
pull your
I'm
shirt
not-
up a little bit.
I'm not going to participate in that.
Come on,
What'd you
Eric.
Defund the
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Okay.
alcohol,
right.
tobacco, and firearms. My 3 favorite things.
Same
David.
group of people.
David. How's David? How's things
David's-
in Oregon?
David's talking a lot tonight. Are we sure he's not a doppelganger?
Yeah. You never know.
I can tell by
I
that.
like zip lining.
I can tell by that growing beard. It's David.
Yeah.
wait a minute.
Look, here it
We didn't
goes.
have a look. We didn't have a
It's-
look tonight, did we?
Look at that.
Oh,
And
yeah.
he's got the natural Fu Manchu
Look at
there
that.
too, the dark hair.
Yeah, it grows in all hillbilly like that.
Nice.
Hey now. Oh, feel good.
Easy, man. We're Southern. You can't call us hill. Well, I love hillbilly. That's cool. That's a good
That's
term.
right.
Since
Rednecks,
we're halfway there. Time to break out the knives.
Oh my lord! You are sitting on the booster seat, aren't you?
I don't see any. Maybe he's sitting on one of the deer heads.
deer heads.
It's thrown.
Anyway.
Oh, he left.
Did he leave?
Leave.
Oh, where'd he go?
You put
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Joe. I didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry.
You removed me.
I didn't mean to.
Well,
All right.
hey, thanks, guys, for listening. I appreciate it. And
Absolutely.
Gary,
Great
thanks
stuff.
for letting
It's
me
good
talk.
stuff. Yeah, man.
Thanks.
Yep.
Again, that freaked me out last night. So if anything else happens sometime, I'll let you know. But hopefully that's the only time that's going to ever happen.
That's
Hopefully.
creepy. I hope for your sake it is the only time it ever happens. Like I said, I had that one breathing thing. I don't have trouble. I don't need CPAP or anything. It just, dude, I was away. I could not get my freaking breath. But we're still alive.
Well,
I got to be careful.
I think it was maybe Art brought up something about or somebody brought up something about me maybe getting my chest. Maybe something was letting me know that my lungs were going to have issues. I don't know.
No, thanks. Grabbing fingers. That's cool.
Well, no, the fact that they were on my chest, pressing my chest.
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not going to, get it checked.
Erica looks like she's about to turn Chinese if we don't let her go.
She's got to get
Hey,
up.
I'm not denying it.
Yeah.
No, what Jeff's trying to say is I'm getting tired and ready to fall asleep. It's time we need to shut down here. That's
Maybe
what
I
he's
can
not
blame
telling me.
somebody else.
Scapegoat.
I could tell. I could tell when he's getting tired. It's all good. Okay, we won't drag it out. We still got 20 plus people in here.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
6 hours later, Art says.
Yeah. 3:09. Okay. I guess we'll be back Tuesday. Harley on the slate to be here Tuesday night
OLC,
with us.
baby. OLC.
We'll be here 8 p.m. Eastern.
Thanks everybody in chat. It was awesome. Thank you.
Night, night.
Good night, y'all.
Night footers.
Peace out.
I'm looking.
He's trying to find it.
See you Tuesday. I found it. See you Tuesday.